do. So we got orders from eBay and Poshmark going out the door. I had one Amazon sale, but that was an Amazon FBA, so I don't ship that. Amazon takes care of that. So we got work to do. Welcome in. I'm glad that you're here. If you're watching this live, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know how your weekend was. If and Fourth of July, by the way, happy late belated Fourth of July. Hope you had a great Fourth of July week and weekend, and hopefully you get to swing around some sparklers and some American flags and all that stuff. Maybe see some fireworks, spend some time with some friends, whatever it was that you got into over the weekend. I hope it was good. Love to hear about your sales. How's business going? We got, I think, 12 orders going out the door from the last 2 days. So six a day, which is slow. It's about half of what we were experiencing in May, in April and May. So during the course of this live stream, we'll probably talk a little bit about summer slowdown. People talk a lot about that, and we'll talk about what that means and what to expect, and maybe some ways to bounce back from summer slowdown. I'd love to hear what's going on with your sales. Are you experiencing summer slowdown? Let me know down below in the chat. And if you are, like, what are you doing to deal with it? What are your strategies to bounce back from it? I'd love to create some conversation around that today. We are going to ship out these 12 orders. 9 of them are eBay, 3 of them are Poshmark. Pretty typical mix right there. We get some good stuff. It was a slow couple of days, but we have some really, really amazing sales that I'm looking at. Some high dollar sales. We get a $150 sale going out the door. An item I paid $7 for. So excited about that sale. But we're going to pack everything up. I'm going to tell you exactly how much I paid for everything, exactly how much it sold for on eBay or Poshmark, and roughly about what I made on profit on each of those items too, and how long they took to sell. So welcome in, say hello down below in the chat. I'd love to hear from you and what's going on with you, your business, your family, that kind of stuff too. Francis is in the house. Welcome, Francis. Glad to see your face. A lot of rain in North Carolina, and of course, Texas got hit. Yeah, very, very sad news out of Texas, and actually some really tough storms rolled through eastern North Carolina, not where we are. We actually had a really dry, beautiful weekend. No storms here. But yes, some tragic news out of, gosh, my heart goes out to all those families that got some bad news and are still waiting to get the news out there. Just bad stuff. Oh, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law both live in New Braunfels, Texas, which is on the banks of the Guadalupe River as well. They're fine. They're doing good, and their people are all doing good. But certainly, their community and they feel the weight, the heaviness in the air of what's going on out there. So terrible stuff. Anybody out there, if you're affected by that stuff, man, my heart goes out to you and your family. That's just tough news. Good morning, Desert Rain in the house. Welcome in. Debbie is in the house. Welcome back, Debbie. Good to have you. Say hello down below in the chat. And if you're watching this, remember all these lives are available on replay. As soon as this live is over, you can rewatch, you can fast forward, do the boring stuff, you can rewind to catch something. So you'll be able to see all the sales too. So if you are watching on the replay, let me know. Drop happy Monday down below in the chat if you're watching the replay. That way I know that you're watching, and you can spread some positive vibes. I respond to all those questions and comments on the replays as well. So this is live, so feel free to ask your questions. This is a safe space. This is a place for people who are just getting started. Ask some questions. There are no silly questions. Chances are that if you have that question, there's probably 3 other people in the chat that have that question too, but just haven't had the gumption to ask said question. So we're going to get shipping. Let me know down below in the chat. You're the boss for a second. Hey, Julie, welcome in. You're the boss for just a moment. What are we going to ship first, eBay or Poshmark today? eBay or Poshmark? I'm going to go ahead and print out the eBay labels because I haven't done that yet. So we'll get those printed out, but let me know. Just type it down below in the chat, eBay or Poshmark. What are we shipping first? Wait, so this is the first live stream of July. So July is exciting because it's the birthday of my business. It was in July 2018 is when I started very part-time, very side hustle style. Going to thrift stores, going to garage store sales, looking stuff up on my phone, figuring out what I could flip online on eBay. It was a very modest business at the time. Didn't even really have any kind of dreams of it being full-time or anything like that. I had a great full-time job, was loving what I was doing, but was just flipping on the side for the fun of it, making some extra cash, and just, I don't know, it was fun. I like the idea of having my own thing. Gave me a sense of control. So yes, 7-year birthday of Chris at Peak today, or not really today, but I think it's later on this week. I think it was maybe the 10th or the 11th, the first time I got started, or my first sale or something. So 7 years. And also June is 5 years of Chris at Peak, the online, me sharing content about my reselling business. It's been doing that for 5 years now. So that was really last month was the 5-year anniversary of that. So kind of exciting times. You got to celebrate your wins and your stuff and your things. So I don't know if I'm really like celebrating, but I'm acknowledging it, I guess, and saying it out loud and expressing my gratitude for all the people who have helped come together to make this whole thing possible. Just a lot of good luck and hard work and vibes and community and support, and people have shared all their knowledge with me. So I'm doing my best to share all with you. Doesn't rain. I'm getting my lights delivered today. Here's hoping everything's all good with them. I've been running bigger sales and taking less than I normally would because I'll be moving next month. Oh, well, wishing you well with your move. This is an exciting move. What's the new destination and all that? And I'm excited for your lights showing up too. Best way to upgrade your photos is the easiest way to upgrade your listings is to upgrade your photos. The easiest way to upgrade your photos is to upgrade your lighting. If you have good lighting, your photos are just got to look better. Trisha's in the house. Good morning, Trisha. Chemo is in the house. Hola from South Texas. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? All right, let's get started. Did anybody tell me? Are we doing eBay or Poshmark? I gave you the chance to be the boss for like just a moment, and you don't even take the reins for a minute. Let me know down below in the chat. eBay or Poshmark? What are we shipping first? Y'all know the drill. We've been doing this for a long time. This isn't our first rodeo, y'all. I've been here for 4 of those 5 years. I love it, Trisha. I appreciate that. I give you a chance to be the boss. We got 9 eBay, 3 Poshmark. Again, this is the last 2 days of sales. I shipped on Saturday, so 6 sales a day, which is slower, but some great sales going out the door that I'm excited to show you about today. Excited to show you those. Kathy over on Instagram says, eBay, what's up? Velvet Shack is in the house. Hello to you. Welcome in, Kathy. Say hello if you haven't said hello yet. If you haven't tap that like button, that helps me out too. If you haven't followed or subscribed, we're Chris at Peak on all 4 of your favorite social media platforms. It's the same name, Chris at Peak. You can see it right down there in the corner, at Chris at Peak on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So if you haven't liked and followed and all that stuff, we'd appreciate that too. Tap that like button. That helps us out. Fireball Flippers is in the house. What's up? How are you? All right, so we're going to do eBay first because Kathy said so. She's the boss. We just printed out our labels. Let's get started here. We'll get right into all the nitty gritty here and slow me down. Stop me if you want me to answer questions and all that stuff. Did you ever get pallets? Yeah. Hey, Blake. We had a couple pallets come in. Geez, what was that? Late May, we had a couple pallets coming in. So yeah, we did. And they're all gone. All that stuff is sold. First order is for Pat. The pants are Gloria. This is not a brand that I pick up typically. I do sell it actually on Amazon when I find it new with tags. I'll sell some Gloria Vanderbilt jeans and capris, and they actually sell really well. But I don't. This might be my first ever used Gloria Vanderbilt pair of jeans that I've ever sold on eBay or Poshmark. I've never sold this brand used before. I picked these up at the bins for $2. These were on, this was a nifty best offer going out the door for $14.40. So somebody watched this item on eBay, Pat to be exact, watched this item on eBay. 10 minutes later, my cross-lister Nifty sent a 10% off auto offer because that's what I set it up to do. So Pat got a 10% off offer and accepted that. So that's great. I love Nifty for that reason and for a bunch of other reasons that every single day it gets me extra sales through those auto offers. So I'm actually going to go ahead. This is a good time to drop the link. If you want to check out Nifty, I'm going to drop the link here on Facebook and YouTube. So that's the direct link. You can get a free trial with that link. And after the 7-day trial, if you like Nifty, you'll sign up and you'll get 15% off. You just have to follow that link. You don't have to enter any code or anything. If you're over on Instagram, those links don't work in the chat, but that's okay. You can just tap on my name and you can go to my profile and you'll find that same exact Nifty link there. So, and that link's always at chrisatpeak.com. It's also in the description of this video. If you go to my profile on any of the platforms, you'll find that same Nifty link. All you have to do is tap it, go to it. You'll get a free trial and 15% off. First order's out the door. Not a lot of profit there. I found it at the bins, $2 for Gloria Vanderbilt. It's like $1.86 a pound, so about $2 for those. Sold them for $14.40 plus the buyer paid $8.95 shipping. So my shipping label cost $8.24. So I made about 71 cents on the shipping label too. So probably a $10 profit on that item. But I was at the bins. I'm not a big fan of the bins really. It's not my thing. But I picked up some jeans for cheap for like $2, and already sold a few pairs of them. So Gloria Vanderbilt capris there for you. Next up is a good sale. Love picking up this brand. It's one that should definitely be on your radar screen if it isn't. Kathy's here from Wisconsin. Love being the boss. You are the boss. You are the boss, at least for a few moments there. So Ariat Tech, great. So Ariat is obviously the bigger brand. Ariat Tech is a line of Ariat, and it's like, like lightweight, breathable, wicking stuff, the type of stuff that people are buying right now. They're buying this, stuff that they're going to wear on vacation, stuff that they're going to wear for like hiking and recreation and walking and jogging, all that, just being outdoors in the summertime. So great piece right here. This sold for full asking price, $27.99. I paid $5 at a thrift store, and it took 9 days to sell. I found 2 of these shirts, same size, both Ariat Tech. Both were really cool patterns. This one was blue, the other one is red. The first one's out the door for $27.99. My profit on that piece is going to be 22, 23, minus 5, about $18 profit on that piece right there. So pretty good, especially in 9 days. I'll take that. Most of my sales are going to be $10 to $20 profits, like something like 65% of what I sell is going to be in that $10 to $20 profit range. And those things really add up. You'll see some of those today. You'll also see some big hitters today. We got some great stuff. This is going out to Tiana in Montana. We're going up to Roundup, Montana. Welcome in, everybody. See you, Trisha. Celeste is in the house. Celeste, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome in, or at least good to see your name and like a little photo of you up there in the corner. Mike is in the house. What's going on? How are you? Appreciate everybody being here, saying hello and all that stuff. That makes it a lot more fun. If I was just shipping all by myself, talking out loud in this like little office would be really strange behavior, actually, but it'd be way less fun too. Since I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks, at least my eBay store closed. How would you handle helping your store pick up again after such a long time away? Well, that's great. So we work to live, not live to work. So I'm excited that you got a couple weeks away. Oh, that's probably your move, right? Gotcha. So you'll be working hard during the move. So that's a great question. Talking about like a lot of people, I think it's a good topic for everybody to talk about. A lot of people are going to be taking time off because it's the summertime. The kids are out of school. It's a good time to travel and go see the world, right? So I think that's a really good topic to sort of talk about. And I'd love to hear what other people do when they, how they handle their time away and how they get the store back up and running. But that certainly is a tricky thing, right? Because we always talk about the algorithm on eBay and Poshmark and feeding that algorithm with like regular listings, maybe even daily listings. Second order out the door, don't worry, we get a lot more going out the door. So yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. I'd love to hear how people handle that question from Desert Rain, which is like, how do you handle helping your store pick up again after a couple of weeks away? I'd be curious to hear what people do there. Excited to be able to make a live. Yay, you made it, Celeste. Welcome here. Tamara's in the house. Welcome in. Good to see you. Appreciate y'all saying hi and being positive and all that stuff. And remember, I always like to hear what's going on with your business. If I can be helpful, I'll be helpful. But if I can just hear about cool stuff that's going on, things that you found over the weekend, great flips, I love hearing about that sort of stuff. I think you already know that. Next up is an order for Steven. We're going to talk about that thing, Desert Rain. We're going to talk about that thing as we move forward. We're going to try to balance the convo and some work here. So we got a Territory Ahead. This is a vintage. You can see that's an older Territory Ahead tag. They actually don't use the word. See how it says the Territory Ahead? They don't use that on their newer tags. It just says Territory Ahead on their newer tags. This one's actually made in Hong Kong, or no. This one's made in Turkey, which is interesting. A lot of the high-end Italian brands are now made in Turkey. So that's interesting that this piece was made in Turkey. This sold for, this was a nifty best offer as well. So $22.09. I had this on, I have a 15% sale that I launched on like Saturday, running, maybe it was Friday, running in my store. So this was 15% off, and then Nifty went and sent a 10% off offer. I was priced too high on this piece. It's a heavy cotton Henley shirt from Territory Ahead. I don't pick up everything from them. Part of the reason I picked this up is Henley shirts are in right now. They used to be like really slow sellers a few years back, but now they sell a little bit better. That's why I picked it up. But also this color, it's got like a nice like Southwest vibe. This is a very Southwestern brand. So we talk a lot about picking stuff up that is on brand, right? So when somebody's searching the internet for Territory Ahead, you got to think like, what is a customer for Territory Ahead typically looking for? And they're looking for Southwestern styles, colors, that sort of thing. So $22.09 on this Henley, and it's like a really heavy piece too. It's over a pound for the shirt. So This one took 98 days to sell, so 3 months, but I was overpriced on it. So my 15% off sale and my nifty 10% off offer saved me on that one right there. So that's a good thing. So that's going out to Steven. Let's get a little bit of a bigger bag for this one. Welcome in, welcome in. And yeah, we'll keep that conversation going about like how to get the business up and going after some time off. I hope some people drop some of their tips and strategies and tricks down below in the chat for Desert Rain. I sell things on eBay and have been for a while. Do I automatically have a store, or is it something I have to set up and buy? You are awesome and so helpful. Oh, well, thank you, Tracy. That's kind of you. So yeah, the store, I think the language around store versus not store, I think it's kind of confusing. And let's face it, eBay is confusing. It is a very aged platform, an older platform, been around since the 90s, right? And a lot has changed since in the world, especially online, like selling and stuff. A lot has changed in the world since eBay opened. So there's a lot of things with eBay, right? Like store versus not store, which is a subscription versus not a subscription, and like the benefits of each subscription level is really complicated. I'm really grateful for platforms like Poshmark that don't have that sort of confusing thing. You have a Poshmark account, you don't pay for the account. There's no like monthly subscription fee or anything like that. There's no limits on how many items you can list per week or free insertion fees. The insertion fees don't exist on Poshmark. But to answer your question specifically, eBay is complicated. But to answer your question specifically, you don't need an eBay store. You can buy and sell and all that stuff. You don't need an eBay store as long as you have an account, and an account is free. When you pay for a store subscription, you start getting into monthly costs, right? So the first store you can get is it's called the basic store. No, the starter store is the first, and it's a monthly subscription. I think it's like $5.99. And I'll bring up the actual page in front of me so I don't misquote things. I'm just gonna Google eBay store subscription, and it's gonna bring me to the eBay page, the first result, and that's what I'm looking at. I'll drop the link to exactly what I'm looking at. Is this the right page? Yeah, this is the right page. I'm going to drop that link so you can see it on Facebook and YouTube. But I just Googled eBay store subscription. So I'll actually share the screen. What the heck? Let's do it. We'll take a little break from shipping here and talk this through, because I think this is a question a lot of people have. I mean, this is a question I had when I was getting started. It's confusing. So we'll bring up the subscriptions here. All right, little mini peek down in the corner. So again, you don't need any of these subscriptions. And people, when they first start, look, just get started. Don't worry about getting a store and all that stuff. The advantages aren't as big as you probably think. So, but once you start growing your business, these are the levels that you can consider getting. There's a starter store for $4.95, as you can see, a basic store for $21.95. The basic store gives you a couple extra bells and whistles, and then a premium store, and then I forget what the next one is. It's called Anchor or something. Yeah, I think it's called Anchor store. Yep. What's above that? Enterprise store. Look at that, $3,000 a month. Lord have mercy. That's a lot of listings. 100,000 free fixed price listings a month. Oh boy, that's a big store. For most of you, we're just going to be talking about these three. I have a premium store, the $59.95. So what typically happens, why people decide to get a store subscription, is typically one thing, and it's the number of items that they have listed in any given month, right? So everybody gets 250 free insertion fees, or like no fee listings, right? eBay has a fee where they charge you to list something. But you don't have to pay that fee unless you hit 250 a month, and you can do that without a store subscription. So you don't even need this thing. You get 250 free. To me, the next thing it's like worth getting is the basic store. The basic store is going to be when you have more than 250 active listings at any given time, and you're going to have to start paying for insertion fees, which would be like 30 cents per time that you list an item. It's going to be 30 cents. And if an item stays listed for longer than 30 days, it relists, and that counts as another new listing, right? So if you exceed 250 listings a month, and probably the math really makes sense when you get to about 300 listings a month, it's going to make sense for you to bump up and get the basic store subscription at $21.95. If you're nowhere near 250 active listings or 300 active listings, I would not, it's not time to really look at the stores. The only benefits you get are the free insertion. You get more free listings per month. That's the big benefit. The second benefit you get at the basic store level is you get a coupon for $25 every month or every quarter. So 4 times a year, you get a coupon for $25 of free eBay shipping supplies, which are overpriced branded shipping supplies. The ones that I typically get look like this. Bring this. So I'm going to unshare this screen. Hopefully that helps explain that. If you have follow-up questions, let me know. Just overpriced. You can get these a lot cheaper. By the way, all the tools that I use for shipping and for the business and lighting and even the table that I'm typing on my computer, my monitor, all that stuff is all linked. I'm going to drop that link right there. It's a big comprehensive list of what we recommend for reselling tools to other folks. So that's all right there. But you can get bags a lot like those Polymerals a lot cheaper than these. Don't spend money on these. Do whatever you want, but I wouldn't spend money on these eBay ones. They're overpriced. But you can get a free, you get a coupon for $25 off of eBay stores, shipping supplies, whatever. You get that quarterly, so it's $100 a year basically for overpriced shipping materials. So hopefully that helps. If you're not at $250, it's not even really worth considering the store, in my opinion. But that's my 2 cents. If you're at like 100 listings, just don't even worry about it. Keep your free account. The store doesn't really give you a ton of it. There are some other advantages that I didn't talk through, but I don't think they're worth spending money on. I sell things on eBay. Oh, I already got that one. That's what we were talking about. What do we got? I just opened an eBay store basic. Did this because we went over 300 items listed and expect to hire this month. Perfect. Julie, I think that's great timing for that move. So now you're on that $21.95 basic store. That's the second tier, which is what I recommend. Once you pass that 250 or start approaching 300 listings, consider that $21.95 a month store, because then you'll end up saving money by spending the $21.95 a month. I got a starter store when I was ready to do things like run sales or coupons. Yeah, I think there's an argument to be made for that too. So in order to run a 15%, I'm running a 15% off sale right now on 600 items in my store. You can't do that unless you have a store subscription. And you could do that with a cheaper store subscription, the first tier, which is the starter store. So that's a good point too. What is this? I got a basic store when my listings per month would cost me more than the subscription for 1,000 listings. Got it. I'm with you. Thanks for that conversation. What did I miss here? Starter, then basic. There you go, Amazon. Or Amazing Jesse is in the house. What's up, Jesse? Sorry, I missed you walking in. Good to see you. I saw you last night too. I got 60 rolls of eBay tape with my first coupon. I only had to pay the tax on it. There you go. I like that. The famous eBay tape, or infamous, whatever you think. Let's get back to some shipping. I like this conversation. We still got to talk a little bit about, taking some time off from the store and how we bounce back from being away, having the store closed for a couple of weeks. So happy to continue that conversation too. But let's do a little bit of shipping. We'll bounce back and forth between those topics. So next up is, I did a post yesterday about this on Instagram and on Facebook. You probably saw it. This is a brand new Tags polo. All right, cooperate with me. All right, brand new Tags polo Ralph Lauren. You can see the retail is $125 on this. I bought 2 of these on clearance, same size, same color, same everything, right? So 1 listing, 1 round of measurements, 1 round of photos, right? Set the quantity to 2. One of these sold on Friday, 4th of July, and I shipped it on Saturday, and then one of these sold yesterday. So both of them sold for $72.24. So I ran a 15% off sale, and they both sold over the weekend. So I paid $29 a piece for these. My profit, I think, is $58 total for these 2 sales. So 1 listing, 2 sales, $58. I love those kind of sales, even though I had to pay up a little bit. For me, it's good dollars per hour, right? 1 listing, the time it takes me to list 1 item is short, right? Just a few minutes. And then it just takes me a minute or so to ship each of these out. So I love that, especially if I could have found 8 of these. That's when you start really rocking, right? So I'll take lower margins Of course, this is still a good margin. It's like $29, right? But people look at the percentage. I paid 29 and made 29 profit after fees and shipping. A lot of people aren't willing to do that, and I get it. But for me, it's totally worth it because the dollars per hour is great. $29 to times two, basically to create one listing, to me is great math. I don't like thinking about this business as like I would like an investment, like a stock in your portfolio. I'm not looking at, a stock going up by 10% or by 50% or by 30%. It's not the same because that's what's happening like over time. I think about this stuff more as a business. How many dollars am I making per hour of my work? And if the margin for my time goes up, those are the activities I'm going to pursue more, right? Just like blazers. I have a higher margin on blazers, even though they take me a little bit more time to list. I'm making more dollars per that listing, so for me, it's like worth the time, even though it's a little bit more time, but it's a lot more money on average. It's a good segue. We got a couple blazers shipping, blazer orders coming out. So coming up, I should say. I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. What we got here? Tracy, I follow you because of the answer that you just gave. Just broke it down in simple terms and it will help me avoid unneeded costs since I'm not there yet. And now you also asked the question about running sales too. Thanks so much for being you and sharing your info. You're welcome, Tracy. And I appreciate your positive energy and all that stuff. But I will acknowledge too, don't be intimidated by how, eBay is complicated. And just because you might be like looking at something like, do I get an eBay store or not? Why does this seem so complicated? Is there something wrong with me? No, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just kind of complicated. It's hard to sort of suss out. It doesn't need to be that complicated. I don't think it should be that complicated, but when these businesses like eBay, they get really big. eBay's a Fortune 100 company, maybe a Fortune 200 company, really big company that's now been around for, over 30 years with really old infrastructure and old ways of doing things. It's really hard for them to sort of like strip away some of these things that were solutions for another time, especially when those solutions for another time, like a store subscription, make them money. It's hard to convince shareholders and like board members that, hey, we're going to get rid of the subscriptions that are like $21.99 a month or whatever they are. We're going to get rid of those things because we're going to like we want to make our store, our website less complicated, right? That's not going to fly really well with shareholders and people that are on the board or whatever. They like the $21.95 a month from hundreds of thousands of users. That's a lot of money, right? So it becomes difficult to strip away complexities when they get so ingrained into a company and there's money to be made. So especially when there's a publicly traded company and you have a lot of other people to answer to, namely shareholders and all that stuff. So if you don't understand some of the stuff about eBay, it's not you. It's because eBay actually is confusing, but you can figure it out. Just got to take some time, ask some questions. Computer challenge, having trouble uploading pictures from iPhone that has one email up to eBay that is tied to another email tied to it. Boy, I don't know if I'm following that. So maybe you're talking to support. What do I need to do? I don't understand the connection requirements per se. Valerie, computer challenge, having trouble uploading pictures from iPhone. So it sounds like you're creating listings from your iPhone and you can't add photos to your listings. Am I understanding that right? So you're creating listings from the eBay mobile app. I'm not sure where the email comes in, but let me know a little bit more about what you're trying to do, Valerie. I'm not sure. You have to get like really specific, like what are you trying to do and what is the thing that's not working? What app are you using? Are you using the eBay web? Are you using the mobile app? Are you using it on desktop? Are you using it? Yeah, I need a little bit more information and exactly what's going on to maybe understand what you're running into trouble with. Sorry, you're running into trouble. eBay is complicated. Remember what I just said. It's not you. It is eBay being complicated. So next up, actually did a post about Levi's this morning, and I sold a pair of Levi's last night. Pair of 501s. These tend to be a little bit more desirable. So Levi's 501s. These are the ones with the button flies. This is a modern pair, size 33 by 32. I always pick up 501s because I can find them for $5 at my thrift stores pretty consistently. But I pick up all the 5 series numbers because I can get them for $5. Not always the best sell-through rate on all the 5 numbers, like a 505 or a 550 or something. 501 tends to float above, but When you're comping items, I always encourage you to don't just comp Levi's jeans. Comp Levi's 501 and then maybe like width 33. And that should be your comping to see like what the sell-through rate is and what the average sale price is. Anyway, these were on a 15% off sale that I started running over the weekend and a 10% off auto offer from Nifty. So got them down to $20.39, which is on the low end for 501s for me, but $20.39. I paid $5. How long did these take to sell? I don't feel like I had these very long. 38 days on those, so just over a month. So the sale and Nifty was able to get me, my 15% off sale and the Nifty offer was able to get me down at a good price that Trevor was willing to buy these jeans in the middle of the summer. It's probably 90-something degrees. He's in Orlando, Florida. It's definitely 90-something degrees, but he got a good deal on a pair of 501s. Willing to pick them up in the middle of the summer. We're willing to ship them to him in the middle of the summer. Typically, I price like the modern 501s at more like $25, $26, and take offers and all that stuff. So after the 15% off and the 10% off, we're looking at $20 and what did I say, 39 cents on these. Still a good sale. I'll make take a couple bucks, $2 off the shipping too. So what am I looking at for profit here? 16, 16. I'll make about $13 or $14. $13 or $14 off that after shipping and fees. That'll be, and my original cost of goods. That's what'll be left in my pocket. Some good sales coming up too. I'm excited about these next few. Some really cool stuff. What do we got here? What do we got? Rachel, does selling similar and canceling listing to generate a new listing count as a daily listing activity for the algorithm? Yeah, it does. Good question, Rachel. So if you end an item and hit sell similar, and canceling listing, yeah, I would probably do it the other way around, Rachel. End it first, then sell similar. I think that's what you mean. Yes, that'll help tickle the algorithm, and that's what you're looking for on a regular basis. I like it, Rachel. Good question. Finally, I'm going to log in, Chris. Or finally, I'm able to log in. Welcome, Sophia. Sorry you had issues getting into the live, I guess, maybe. We're living the same thing you guys did a couple months ago. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Sophia. Please, if you're interested, feel free, Sophia, to send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. I'd be curious to hear, what's going on out there and all that. If you care to share, I care to read about it. I know it's probably a lot to process and talk about, but if you're interested in talking it out, I'm happy to read what updates you have and stuff. So feel free to DM me. It's easiest to DM on Facebook or Instagram, but be happy to read if you want to share. But sending my prayers out to you, your family, your community. That's just so much out there. It's just so hard to wrap your mind around that much water. And we experienced something very, very similar 9, almost 10 months ago, but it's still hard to wrap your head around that kind of water. Just insane. No, I'm actually creating listings on computer, but I'm taking the pictures on the iPhone that match that listing. I cannot upload the pictures taken by the phone to add to the actual listing. Valerie, I'm not sure that I have like advice for you, only because I've never done what you're doing. So I can make some guesses on what's going on, but I'm really not sure. I hate to give people sort of advice and troubleshooting thoughts on something that I've never done. I've never created listings. If I have, I don't remember. It had been so long ago, but create a listing on a computer. So what I do, Valerie, and I don't know if this is helpful for you. I have a Mac computer. You're on the Mac computer, and I have an iPhone. So I use AirDrop. So I move my photos from my phone to my computer using AirDrop, and I do all my listings off of the desktop. I don't do any listing off my phone. I'm just much faster by using the desktop. So I take all my photos, say it's like a batch of 20 items. I highlight them all. I hit the AirDrop button. It drops them. It takes like 3 seconds for 100 photos to drop over to my MacBook, and then I just list from my MacBook. So I just haven't done what you're doing, so I can't really give you any advice on how to fix what's broken because I just haven't been there before. Yes, Sarah, I promote at 5% on eBay. Great question. I like it. Thank you, Valerie, for sending some prayers. What other automations tools do you use besides Nifty? I don't use any other automation tools besides Nifty. In fact, in most cases, that probably wouldn't be a good idea to run multiple automation tools for a variety of different reasons. I'll just leave that there. I just use Nifty because it does everything I need it to do, Don. It sends automatic offers to my buyers on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. It does the delist and sell similar on eBay, which is a refresh or a recreate on a regular basis. So, my items are getting refreshed and showing up back higher in searches. It does that also on Poshmark and Mercari. And then specific to Poshmark, which has sharing, it does auto shares. So about 6,000 shares every single day on Poshmark. So I wouldn't need, there's really no other automation. Oh, and it does the auto sales detection and then like a delist items on other platforms. So like anything that you would need automated, Nifty has built into it. So there wouldn't be another platform that I would need that does something different. I can't think of another thing that I would want to have automated. So, but no, I wouldn't suggest having two different tools for automation. You could kind of create some challenges on your account with like two different bots sort of running on your stores. I could see some conflicts that could create. I wouldn't suggest it. Prayers to Texas, West Virginia as well. I appreciate all the good positive vibes that people are sharing. It's tough times across the world, and it's good to have friends that care and stuff out there. It's just so much, it's just crazy stuff that happens. Next up, we got a really good sale going to Gregory. That's not this one. Where is that one? Oh, here it is. Right in front of my face. So you're not going to be able to see the tag. This is a Joseph A. Banks blazer. What I want you to see is the pattern if you can. A nice like modern plaid gray pattern right there. When I'm looking at blazers, the pattern is just, and this is something I've learned now. I've been selling blazers for 4.5 years. It was like January of 2021 when I said, I got to get serious about suits, blazers, sports coats, that sort of thing. And I pay more attention to pattern than I do anything else. At one point in time, I put more emphasis into size. I used to look for like bigger sizes. I still do. That's still part of the formula. But to me, knowing the in-style patterns and colors that people are shopping for, that's what's really helping me the most right now. So I picked up this Joseph A. Bank, and it's a size 40S, by the way, which is a smaller size. It's like a size medium short is essentially a 40S, and which is a small size for men. This jacket I paid $7 for. It was 13 days ago, so it took less than 2 weeks for this blazer to sell. Joseph A. Banks, $7 into $33.99 plus the buyer pays $9.95 shipping. So I'll make $3 on the shipping on this. So after all is said and done with fees and all, I'm just going to click on the order details and just let eBay do the math for me. View order details. So after everything, eBay's got to give me $31.57 and after my fees and all that stuff, and I paid $7 for the jacket. So this is a $24 profit, $24.50 profit on this one blazer, and it took 13 days. So this is like a really good sale for a clothing reseller to make over, $24 in profit. To make $24 in profit on something you paid $7 for, and it was in your store for 13 total days. And it sold in the middle of the summertime during summer slowdown. That is good. To me, and it's a brand that a lot of people just pass on reflexively. But again, I picked it up because of that pattern right there. This is 100% wool, by the way, too. So pretty standard issue stuff. Just a very, very modern in-style look. Quick sale, $24. I freaking love it. I freaking love it. So let's get this thing shipped out. I got some really heavy hitter sales about to come to that I'm pretty excited about. Blooming Rooster is in the house. What is up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Omar, how many platforms do you sell on? I sell on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Amazon. 4, plus my own website. So 5. Cha-ching. Yeah. What's up, Brian Martin? Good to see you, brother. I feel like I haven't seen you in a little bit. Maybe it's been a week. But either way, it's good to see your name down below in the chat. You get some advice here coming in from Rachel. So Valerie, if you're still messing with your photo situation, maybe that reply from from Rachel is helpful. Anyone heard of Ash in Erie? Anybody? We got a question from Dawn over on Instagram. Uh, heard of Ash in Erie? Anybody? Anybody in the chat heard of Ash in Erie? I haven't heard of it. Cuban X, what's up? Man, just had a return on a woman's $200 Harley jacket. Doesn't fit. Pretty big hit. Hope it comes back in the same condition. Yeah, 98, 99% of the time, those returns come back in good condition. I relist them, and if it sold once for $200, it'll sell again for $200. I know it's frustrating. You're like, oh man, there's $200 out of my bank account, but that's just part of the game. Whether it's a $15 return or a $200 return, it's still the same amount of time that you're going to put into just inspecting the item, hitting the refund button, and then, relist that item, get it sold again, get it back out into your inventory. You'll be shipping it before you know it. It is a bummer. I get it, but just part of the biz. I think 3% of my sales on eBay result in returns. So it stinks that 3% hits you on a $200 item. I feel that for sure. But I try to be unemotional about those sorts of things. It's just like, it's the business. Get it resold. Although I'd probably be like off air. I'd probably be like throwing stuff. I don't know if I'd throw stuff, but I'd probably be a little bent too. Like, oh, come on. Oh, shucks. This is going out to Gregory. Gregory's in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. It's a good name for a town. Camp Hill. I don't know why. I just think so. So nice little sale here. I charge for blazers $9.95 shipping, and this one shipped. It was only $6.45 because it stayed here on the East Coast. I used to actually charge more for blazers back in the day before they had the USPS Ground Advantage, because these used to go priority, so they used to cost more. A lot of people complain about like shipping costs going up all the time. I used to charge $10.95 shipping for blazers, but I lowered it. I don't know when they came out with Ground Advantage was that 2 summers ago, 2023? And you were able to, instead of shipping a 2-pound item priority, you can ship it Ground Advantage instead. Yeah. And they replaced USPS first class packages. So I actually brought my prices down on blazers, $9.95. I could probably go even cheaper, to be honest with you. Why don't you sell on Depop? I sold on Depop for years. I just didn't sell much on Depop. It became not like a tremendous use of my time. And specific to me, Booming Rooster, I also, I was selling on TikTok Shop for a while. Like my coffee, I was selling on TikTok Shop. I wasn't doing the whole TikTok Shop thing, selling other people's stuff. But I have that. I have my own website, chris@peak.com, which I sell on. I launched Amazon last year too, and sell on Amazon as well. So it just became like, at some point you have to say, like, I have too many different things to log into every single day. And if I had to look at the things and be like, what's not making me money, right? And Depop wasn't making me much money. So I had to back off. I dropped Depop, I dropped Grailed, I dropped Facebook Marketplace, and I dropped, what's the other one there? Mercari, but I brought Mercari back fairly recently, and it'll probably go away again, by the way. But yeah, just had to make a business and time decision on that sort of thing. But I don't have anything like, there's nothing wrong with Depop. It just became like 4% of my sales. And at some point I needed to get a little bit of my time and attention back for all the other things I do. Plus I'm creating content every single day, 5 pieces of content on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and then responding to comments and questions and messages on all those platforms on top of that too. So it's a lot. So I just decided I had to pull back on a couple things. Our next order is going out to John. John, we got this polo Ralph Lauren. Just a basic polo Ralph Lauren polo. Pony on the chest, no pattern, nothing crazy about it. It's just a good constant seller for me. I actually buy and sell these used a lot. I know a lot of people don't do that either. I paid $29 for this. It sold for $58.99. I'll tell you exactly my profit on this item too. I think, retail arbitrage is a little scary because you got to pay $29 for an item instead of like a thrift store price, like $5 or $6. But let's look at the details of this. So at the end of the day, after fees and shipping label and all that, eBay is leaving me with $48.03 on this. And I paid $29. So I'm going to make $18 on this. Is that right? $19 on this is my profit. So I paid $29 to make 19. A lot of people that are watching might be like, gasp, oh, like, what are you doing? Like, your ROI isn't great on that thing. It's like, it's a $19 profit item. About 65% of the stuff that I sell gets me less than $19, right? Most of the items I'm selling are less than $20 profit items. They're between 10 and 20 is typical, about 65%. So to me, this is almost into that 20 plus range. And I also buy these oftentimes multi-quantity. I forget if this was multi-quantity or not, if I bought more than one, but for me, one listing to make 19 bucks, I'm okay with it. I don't really care how much the buy cost is. I mean, obviously I'm not going to spend $1,000 to make $19, right? But 29 to me isn't all that scary. I've been buying and selling brand new with tags, clearance Polo Ralph Lauren for years. It's baked into my business. I have some high cost items, and it ends up being like an above average profit item. So it's fine for me. I am not telling you what to do in your business. I never do. I just, maybe sometimes I'll give you some nudges on some things, but for me, this part of my business model is something that I like. It's just like having a different pitch as a pitcher in your repertoire, right? The fastball is great, but the fastball works a lot better when you have a curveball too. It allows me to, pursue different opportunities for sourcing, like online arbitrage, like retail arbitrage. It allows me to pursue like big time clearance sales that happen typically in January and in July, late July. We got that season coming up for like good clearance season for clothing. So it allows me to take advantage of some different opportunities. It's just having a different pitch in my repertoire. I still, as you see, buy a lot of stuff from thrift stores for $5 to $10 and flip those. But it's nice to also be able to go and get a whole bunch of clearance, brand new with tag stuff, and get that going too. I also sell on Amazon, and a lot of my clearance brand new with tag stuff ends up selling on Amazon as well. So just part of my strategy. It works. I'm not telling you what to do, but I like that kind of stuff. I don't care that the buy cost was $29. What I care about is I made $19 off taking photos of that item, measuring it, and now throwing it in that shipping bag and throwing it in the bin behind me. I like that number. New BOLO to look for, Ashen Erie, 121% sell-through rate. Cool. What's the item? What type of item? Jeans, pants? Give us a little bit. I appreciate you sharing your BOLO over there, Don, but 121% sell-through rate on what? On a polo shirt, on a button-down shirt, on a pair of jeans? I like it. Mercari is terrible. I do pretty well on Depop, mainly things that are 2 pounds or less. Quite a few shoes, including men's dress shoes. Good to know. I like it. I do not know how you have time to list around 20 items daily and create all that content. I really want to start content creation, but I do. So Brian, I'm more listing like 10 or 12 items a day. And I don't list every single day, but that's like sort of at the end of the week, it's like 70, 80 items. But remember, this is my full-time job. This is all I do. I don't have other things. I don't have kids. I don't have that kind of thing. So yeah, I think, efficiencies have come we find efficiencies in our listing, like our reselling business, right? I've talked about getting good photo lights and having like a good process, a good system that's repeatable. You can just turn your brain off and just jam through and be really efficient. I think those things are really important. But also, I'm now 5 years into content creation, I've built some efficiencies in creating content and creating photo posts in batches and finding a style and rhythm of my own video content that I can edit really quickly and get out to the masses. That wasn't always the case, right? Just like, you don't become I always say in the restaurant, I grew up in the restaurant business, right? And I always say in the restaurant business, you don't become a chef, in a weekend. And you don't become a chef in a year. And you probably won't become a chef in like 3 years, maybe 4 or 5 years, right? You start in the dish pit, you wash dishes, you move up, somebody calls out, next thing you know, you're a fry cook, you're cooking fries and chicken tenders and that sort of thing. At some point you got to step in, the grill's busy, and you start working on the grill a little bit. You start learning the grill, you become a grill cook, and then you learn the ovens, and then you learn the saute station. Maybe at some point there's a sous chef opportunity available because the sous chef left and walked out the door. So now they promote you to become a sous chef, a couple of years into your game, you're a sous chef for a couple of years. And then maybe you get the opportunity finally to take an executive chef sort of job. It takes a little bit of time, and over the last 5 years, I'm not saying I'm an executive chef when it comes to content, Brian, but you get the metaphor here, right? That, I've figured out the tools and apps that work for me, a style that works for me, but also I've had to evolve and change, the what worked in content 5 years ago doesn't work the same as it did now. So you have to adapt and stuff, and become more efficient and figure out what people are looking for and all that stuff. But I don't think it's fair to expect that you're going to right away jump into content. And I hope you do, and be really efficient and really effective, and get great views and get great followers. I think it's got to take time, just like your reselling business took time to kind of build and get some of those efficiencies. Could you do a video on how to sell on Amazon? I'm sorry, Michelle. I don't have any short term or even medium term plans to do content teaching on Amazon. And not because I don't want to share that or help people. I think that those things are true. I want to help and I want to share. I just don't think I'm the right person to help and to share on Amazon. There's other people who are way further along in their game. They're way more, mature and nuanced and understand like the ups and downs and pros and cons about Amazon. It's a different beast. I'm a student of the game, and I just don't feel like I'm in a position to teach it. I would rather, if somebody wants to learn Amazon, I would rather them go and learn it from somebody else who's just better at it, and can teach it. Just because you're pretty good at something doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a pretty good teacher. And I acknowledge that I'm probably not going to be I'm not the best person to be a teacher at Amazon at this point in time. We'll see what 2 years from now brings. I just don't know, but I'm also not putting enough time and energy into Amazon for me to I don't see the trajectory of my growth on Amazon to, all of a sudden in a year, I'm going to be smart enough. I'm just right now, it's kind of on the side. It's definitely like a side hustle kind of thing for me. So I don't see a short or medium term pathway to me teaching Amazon. It's just a different beast. I'm waiting to see if Mercari picks up with their new return thing they're doing. I don't know anything about that. You'll have to teach me about that. I haven't really been paying much attention to what's going on in Mercari. Do you have a best offer minimum on your listings, and how do you do it? I don't have that. There is a way to do it on eBay. When you're creating your listing, there's I think a box that you can check to set a minimum, a minimum price that you would consider or something. I don't do it. I've never used it. I like offers on my items, and I don't mind lowball item offers. I just counter those offers. It's good for the algorithm. So I don't do it, but if you want to do it, I think you just do it on the listing. I may start posting some content soon. Nice. Remember, Brian, the content game is the long game, and really everything in your business, I think you should really be considering the long game. Maybe if you're thinking like day to day, think week to week. If you're thinking week to week, think month to month. If you're thinking month to month, think quarter to quarter. If you're thinking quarter to quarter, think year to year and what that looks like. But content has to be the long game. It just has to be. I think very few people come out of the gate hot on content. It's just very, very rare that happens. Most of the 99.9% of the people who have been successful on social media and have turned it into something that maybe brings in some revenue and stuff for them and their families, those are people who have been really, really consistent, and have tinkered with their game over periods of time. And I would say a year plus of being ultra consistent, but also ultra responsive to the feedback that the algorithm's giving you constantly. What platform gives you more profit? Omar, it's really I would say probably a impossible question to answer. Like which one? I guess I can answer it this way. Sometimes I don't know what exactly people are asking. I make more sales, and thus make more profits on a monthly basis on eBay than my other platforms. Maybe that's the question you're looking for. Sorry, sometimes it takes me a second. Mercari has an exchange program for July where if something doesn't fit, buyer gets credit and the seller still gets paid. That's strange. I feel like they're probably what they're doing there. It sounds like they're trying some new things, and they're probably trying it for July as like a test and see how buyers and sellers react to it, and just kind of see what the data tells them. Like how many of those exchanges do they get? How much does that cost them on average? And then kind of take a look at it as like an experiment that they put in a box for July. That would be my guess there. If I took that one step further, it feels like a company that's still throwing shit at the wall and seeing if anything will finally stick. They did the 0% fees for sellers thing last year. They threw that at the wall. It did not stick, and now they're back to something else. But that's the way I see it, as a company that they still haven't found, how was our platform? what is our niche? What's our big selling point? Why people should sell on our platform as opposed to other platforms? And I think they're looking for like, what is our competitive advantage? And so they're looking at some things that some other platforms aren't doing, and they're like, well, maybe if we do this, it'll create buyer confidence. And how much will that buyer confidence cost us? And then, therefore, how much will we have to charge in additional fees in order to cover our costs of creating, this exchange program and the return, the refunds that come with it. So that's my guess is they're still throwing stuff at the wall and trying to figure it out over there. And I respect it. That's what you have to do. It just hasn't done anything for my sales so far in Mercari. I sold more during zero seller fees than any other time. Yeah, and it's also July too. So I'm shipping out 12 orders today, which is from the last 2 days, which is 6 a day. In April and May, I was selling 12 a day. So, that's 50% down in the last couple of days. Of course, it's a small sample size. You can get ebbs and flows like that. When you look at small sample size, it's going to happen all the time, but it's a slow time of year. So if I looked at my Mercari sales, which are like 5% of my sales, which is just like, it's like 5 to 8 a month. If I'm doing half of that right now, 5 to 8 a month, that's what, 2.5 to 4, 2 to 4 sales a month. And that's pretty low. That's pretty small sample size kind of stuff. Brian agrees. Button down long sleeve on the Ash and Erie Bolo. I appreciate that, Don. Bringing the bolos into us. Let's ship some more orders, huh? When will you start listing winter? I list winter and summer and spring and all the seasons. I list them when they come in the door and they go out the door. Today I'm shipping 2 suits, a blazer, a pair of jeans, things that people wouldn't necessarily consider summertime items they're selling. I list everything all the time. So hopefully that answers your question, Jessica. Welcome in, Jessica. Good to see you. A little bit of coffee. Best sale of the day coming up right now. That's a teaser, but it's true. Best sale of the day. And we got some other really good sales coming. I got another eBay sale that's awesome right after this, and I got some good Poshmark sales that you're going to be excited to see. So right here, this is a Brooks Brothers suit, 2-piece suit. There's 3 reasons that this suit is $149 sale. I accepted an offer of I listed this for $189.99 plus shipping. The buyer offered me $130. I countered at $149, so I had a $130 offer on the table, and I countered. I do this stuff all the time, and I countered at $149. The buyer accepted at $149. So good price on this. I had it listed at $189. It's a Brooks Brothers, but the tag you're not going to be able to see is the tag from the Italian wool maker. It's the oldest wool maker in the world, out of Italy. It's called Vitale Barberis Canonico. I'm not going to be able to show you that tag because I'll show it to you on the photos. It's worth seeing. So this Brooks Brothers suit's probably $100 suit with this pattern. That's the other thing. So it's Brooks Brothers. It's got the Vitale Barberis Canonico tag, which I'm going to show you in a second, and a really modern pattern. It's like a gray. It's called a Glen plaid. This is actually a classic plaid pattern. It's also called like Prince of Wales check. They're both really similar patterns, so you can use either one of those keywords. But I use Glen plaid. It's gray and blue. It's a classic plaid pattern, which has come back into style, and it's really hot right now. So if you can know the patterns for blazers, sport coats, and suits, if you know the patterns that are hot, that's going to be half your battle right now. But then you got to know the brands. Brooks Brothers, got it. And then if you can know like the wool maker like that, like the Vitale Barberis Canonico, which I will show you the picture in a second. I'll share the screen. Let's bring this up here. There it is. Okay. So that's the tag I'm talking about right there, that Vitale Barberis Canonico. It says fabric made in Italy. That logo right there on a lot of different brands is going to elevate the value of that suit or blazer or sport coat, whatever it might be, because it is high quality wool, and every brand has this. Brooks Brothers has lower end stuff, which their 346 line, which is their outlet or factory store line. Brooks Brothers has that. They have middle of the road stuff, which is just 100% wool. It doesn't tell you where the wool is made. And then they have high end stuff like this, like Vitale Barberis Canonico wool, which is really expensive, high end, finer wool, right? Just higher quality stuff. And that stuff has got to sell for more. That's the Brooks Brothers tag that's on this. You can see that a little bit better. And I'll show you there's a good look at the pattern right there. And that's a close-up photo that I use on my suits and blazers so that you can really kind of see the pattern against the buttons right there. So little blue check pattern. Where did that photo go? I lost it. There it is. There's like a little zoom in on it. So you can see that's a Glen plaid, little gray, little blue, like super in style pattern right now. So something to look for. And again, there's the other two logo. It doesn't matter like the size on this is a 40R, right? Who cares? With this, I'm really looking at, that composition, that wool maker and the Brooks Brothers and all that. So $149 sale. I paid $10 for this at the thrift store. You can see my photos and stuff there too. So we'll go ahead and bring this down. Sale of the weekend for sure on this, $10 into 150. And I knew it as soon as I saw it. I'm like, oh, the pattern is awesome. Ooh, it's a Brooks Brothers. I'm like, it's probably like $100 suit. And then boom, I open the other flap and I see the Vitali Barberis Canonico, and I'm like, oh, this might be approaching $200. $149. I could have held out and got a little bit more for this piece, but whatever. I got $10 into it. I'm happy to get $149. And this took how many days to sell? 12 days. 12 days to sell. So a nice quick 10 into 150. If you start learning those little details, that's where the money is in any industry, in any business, any occupation. The real money is in those little details, right? And it's the pattern and it's that wool maker that really pushes this item up to $150. So out the door, this is going to Jared. This is actually going to Portland, Oregon. It's going to an address in Oregon that is by the airport. So I know that this is actually going to go to I can almost be 100% certain. We'll call it 99% certain. But this is going to a freight forwarder. So this will be shipped overseas, so it'll go in like a whole, probably like a big, I don't know, pallet, or I don't know what you call it, those big things that international shippers use. It'll go in with a bunch of other things and it'll go overseas. I don't know where overseas, because again, the only address I got for this one is that address that's in Portland. Very common with items that I ship to Portland. If I Googled this address, I guarantee it's right by the airport. It has a address that tells me it's near the airport. I won't say the road name just for reasons, but oftentimes when I have addresses in Miami or Doral, Florida, Doral's right by the Miami airport. Those are also freight forwarding companies. I can Google Maps the address and see that it's like, it's like a little warehouse space near the airport, right? So I know it's going overseas. What do we got? Good morning, Brandy. How are you? This is my first big weekend. Sold 9 pairs of UFOs. They are going fast. Let's go, Brandy. Crushing it over there. That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. How do you know what patterns, colors are in style? Desert Road. I'm going to ask a question, and this is where a teacher challenges the class that you already know the answer, right? So instead of me handing you the answer, I want you to think critically about this answer. I'm going to kick this question out to everybody else. I'll address it. I'm not going to avoid it. But Desert Rain asks, how do you know the patterns, colors that are in style? What are some ideas that we have in the chat that we could figure out? What are the patterns and colors that are in style right now for suits and blazers? What ideas do y'all have? I bet you y'all can solve this pretty quickly. It's a lot easier than you think. Almost worth looking at brand names in made in Italy. I think so. Yeah, I think that's a good strategy for sure. I like it. Let's see. What did I miss? Nothing. We're doing good. Okay. Next is our last eBay sale, but don't worry, we got some Poshmark sales after that and some good ones. This is a cool sale. I picked this up in February, so it took a little while to sell. I priced it high in the market, and I figured that this was going to be a wait for the right buyer type of item. So the brand here is Rain Spooner. If I could find any Hawaiian brand, just every single time I walked into a thrift store, if I could just pick what brand it was, I'd pick Rain Spooner. They have some really high-end collab stuff that sells for some great money, but also Rain Spooner, just kind of more normal stuff, sells really well too. This one is this is an interesting collab. I'm going to say the name wrong probably. It's Dietrich Dietrich Verez, which is a Hawaiian artist who created this print. So, I think Dietrich Verez has now passed, but and this is an older tag for Rain Spooner too, a vintage tag. So this is a 60% cotton, 40% polyester piece right here, but it's got this like all over, I guess like oars and boats, like cruise boats kind of thing. So I knew that this is going to be kind of like this is going to be like wait for the right buyer to come along. So this sold for $45.99. I paid $5 at a thrift store. So what would be my advice here? I would say pick up Rain Spooner. If you see it, it's probably worth money. Some of them are worth more than others. They're not all worth 45. I've sold Rain Spooner for $80 before. It was like a Lakers collab. That was a while ago too. It was a Rain Spooner, Lakers, like Los Angeles Lakers, all over print. I couldn't get that thing out of my house fast enough, the freaking Lakers stuff, but it sold for like $80, and this was years ago. So you can find some really high-end stuff from Rain Spooner. This one, I've had a feeling it was going to take a little while to sell, but they have a lot of like collab stuff. Hey, Cam, pass guy. So look out for the collabs. This isn't really like a collab, like a high-profile collab like Dietrich Verez. So I just figured it would take a little bit longer to sell because of that. But I'm happy to wait around from February till now to flip an item from $5 into 45. It might have taken me just as long as if it was priced at $35. Honestly, you're just waiting for the right person who knows that Dietrich, Verez, the artist, and understands the cachet with that person. It's not like a household name, right? So this is going out to Alan. I keep missing Hawaiian shirts. I only know burgundy dresses, etc. for women for the coming fall winter. Okay, cool. Sell through. Okay, I like that. So you got some ideas. Honestly, the easiest way, if you want to learn like what suits are really in fashion right now, go to a place that sells suits. Walk into Men's Warehouse. Walk into, go to Macy's and go to their suit section and see what do they have on the mannequins. Like what are the ones that they're pushing for. Remember, they're going to put like the fashion that they think is in fashion. They're going to put that stuff on display, on the mannequins, featured. Look for what are they showing? What are they pushing? What are the styles and the patterns and the colors that people are looking for. If you want to know like if double-breasted is coming back or not, see if they're selling them at those stores. And it doesn't even have to be a high-end store. I went to Men's Warehouse about a month or so ago. I had to get like my suit fitted, and I had to get a couple like dress shirts and a tie, and I just took a couple minutes, looked around, saw the patterns that are there. Look at that. Not just the shirts, or not just the suits and blazers, but also like the ties and the shirts and like the collars. What are the collars, that they're selling? What are the styles that are in right now? And just patterns and that sort of thing. And you're going to learn a lot just by walking into one of those stores. I do that sometimes. I'll walk into stores downtown in Asheville. They'll have like these boutique men's stores, and I'll pop into one, not because I'm going to buy nothing, but because I want to see what are the brands and styles and patterns that these boutique stores are charging, $100 to $150 for a shirt for. What are the brands? What are the styles? What are the collar styles? What are the patterns? What are people looking for right now? And, the people who are going to know are the people who are selling $100 and $150 fashion forward sort of stuff. So it's actually pretty easy to do, everybody's got these stores around them that you can walk in and just kind of see. You could also scan eBay. You can go to frickin' Macy's.com and you can look at their suits and look at the ones that they're showing at the top. I mean, you can even do it on the internet, probably just as easy on the internet, and see like what's in fashion. Go to jcrew.com and like, what are they showing you on the homepage? What are the styles, the patterns, the collar styles, that sort of stuff. Probably easier than you think. There's not really like super genius tricks to this sort of stuff. Fashion just comes and goes, and they'll put it out there in front of you. Next, we get some Poshmark orders. 3 orders on Poshmark. First up is I'll do a pair of shorts. Got a couple pairs of shorts. Travis Matthew, I bought a ton of these like last January, like January 2024. I still have some lingering around. Travis Matthew is a brand that, from a resale value perspective and sell-through rate, has gone down over the past couple of years. I still sold a bunch of these and made money. I paid $11 or $12 a piece for these. This one sold for $25. I sold a lot of them in the $30 to $35 range, but the price has come down. Sell-through rate has come down, a couple of them. When you buy like bulk retail arbitrage on clearance, it's pretty common to sell a lot of, like, say you buy 100 items, it's common to sell 75 or 85 of them and then have like 15 or 20 that sort of hang around, right? And this is an example of that. But I have sold a few in the last couple of weeks, which is good, getting them out the door. So this is going to Bridget. Bridget got Travis Matthew shorts for 25 bucks. I paid 12. Again, this is a multi-quantity listing. I had this particular size. I probably had like 10 of them. But I also had other sizes too. I think I'm getting close to being sold out of these. But I don't mind having some that just trickle out the door over time. It's part of the game. That happens with a lot, like I'd say almost all of my retail arbitrage. You know, you get some really quick sales when you're buying them in bulk. Get some really quick sales, and for whatever reason, some just kind of sit around and you got to lower the price and they'll sell down the road. Do you have a Burlington coat factory where you're at? Yes, I do. I do have a Burlington. It's not super close though. I think it's like an hour out. So it's not something I go to on a regular basis. Do you got agents? Ziam, I'm not interested in that, in what you're asking. I'm not interested. Thank you. Great tips. Got it. Hey, what's up? Lauren is in the house. I'm having my best Monday. I'm having a good Monday. A good Monday. I haven't like stacked it up against other Mondays. I'm going to have to think this out. I would say no, it's not the best Monday because I don't have like, for me, the best Monday would be just like a crazy amount of sales just pouring out the front door. That is not described this Monday, but we had some really good sales, including a couple that I'm about to show you. But it was a solid weekend. The sun shining. I'm grateful for those things. So hope you're doing well too, Lauren. Appreciate you bringing some positive vibes into the house. Next up is another really great sale. This is a suit. It actually sold already once. This is a Ralph Lauren suit. Again, we can look at the pattern. See, it's like what do you call that? Like bird's eye or micro dot, or I don't know what the right term is for that. But this is a size 46 tall. This is a cotton cashmere blend. Kind of an older style Ralph Lauren suit. It is 2-button though, and it had one little minor flaw. I know that because it says it in my item title. What was the minor flaw? I just don't remember. I'll look at it. One white spot on the sleeve near cuff. Okay, so there's 2 spots, light spots on one of the legs of the pants, and there's a 1 light spot near the cuff, and I showed some close-up photos of that and stuff. This sold on a best offer of $50. I had it listed for $79. This is worth a little bit more because it's a wool and cashmere blend that, you know, cashmere has a way of elevating the demand and the sale price of an item. So a nice 2-button. I called it an older Ralph Lauren. It is kind of it's an older tag, but it does have a modernish style to it, but in a nice pattern. And that cashmere. So this one sold for $50. I paid $10. So 10 into 50. That's a great flip for in the clothing reseller game. If you can buy something for 10 and sell for 50, that's great. So Poshmark charges 20% on their fees. I'm not going to put it in this. What am I going to put? I'm going to put this in a box because Poshmark's everything goes priority, so I can use this free USPS shipping supplies. We'll do that. Why not? It's free. So I'm going to use what's called a 1095 box. You can see that number right there. You can get these free at USPS.com. It's one of these kind of jobs. They make 2 different sizes that are like this shape. One's a 1092, which is a little bit smaller. This one's the 1095, if you care. So we're gonna ship this out. So yeah, 20% fees on Poshmark. So I got $50 for this. So easy math. I'm gonna pay $10 in fees to Poshmark. The shipping label is paid for by the customer. So the customer paid, I think, $8.30. $8.30. Get in there. There we go. So I got $40 out of this, so my profit's $30 because my cost of goods was $10. So I got $30 in profit after fees and shipping and all the cost of goods and everything. $30 in the bank account. I like it. That's pretty good. even though not a lot of sales this weekend, to have a $150 sale. I had a 70-something dollar sale. This is a $50 sale. I had another $59 sale. I just had that $45 Rain Spooner sale. So like a lot of like good dollar sales. I like that. I tried your coffee at Laura Hollenbrand Crow, and I'm going to put an order in today. It was super good. Oh, thank you, Brandy. I appreciate that. And if you do put an order in, if you do it during the live here, you get that little extra bonus. I'll ship it out during the live. I'll give you a big dose of gratitude for it. We'll pack it and ship it if you're interested. And I'll put the link for the coffee so you have it handy right down below in the chat. You might already have it handy, but I'll drop it for other folks if you want to get yourself a bag of delicious fresh roasted coffee that's both fair trade and organic. So it's the good stuff. It's the top of the food chain coffee. We can get that shipped right out to you during the live right here. Thanks for bringing up the coffee. I'm actually sipping this is our Black Mountain Dark Roast, and it is cold brew with a little bit of oat milk. You can tell by the color, just a little bit of oat milk, not much. If you're into dark roasts, this is, even if you're not into dark roast, you might check out our dark roast, by the way, because it's not like most dark roasts you've ever had before. This one is going to be much more balanced. So it's not going to have that like roasty, dark, like just bitter that you get from a lot of dark roast. It's a blend of 3 different beans from Honduras. They're all fair trade. They're all organic. But this is going to have it's going to have a little creaminess to it, a little bit of roastiness to it, and just a hint of dark chocolate. So it's got to be much smoother. It's also going to be more complex. A lot of dark roasts are one note. The note is roast. This one's going to have that creaminess. It's going to have a little bit of roastiness, and it's going to have some dark chocolate too. So it just gives it's just an interesting cup of coffee. It's great for cold brews. It's great for regular drip coffee. It's also great if you make espresso. It holds up really well to like that fine grind and that heating up in the espresso. It's got to be, you know how espresso can be like really bitter, really one note. It won't be that way if you use our Black Mountain Dark Roast. You're going to get some complexity, and even in the espresso, you'll get like a hint of fruitiness too in your espresso too if you make it like we do. So, but we have 3 different roasts: a light roast, a dark roast, and a medium roast. Our medium roast is our best seller. If you've never tried our coffee before, you have no clue what you should buy or try. Try the medium roast. It's a crowd pleaser. I've never had anyone say like that's a bad cup of coffee. It is our best seller. It's our OG. It's our first coffee that we launched with, and it went well. That's why we launched the other ones. It's all roasted by Dynamite Roasting, which is a local roastery here in Black Mountain, North Carolina. I actually just was talking with them, with Patrick, their CEO and co-owner, on Thursday on the phone, just catching up with him a little bit. Great guy. But they know their coffee. 12 years in a row, they've been voted Western North Carolina's #1 coffee roaster. 12 years in a row. And that's as voted by the people. That's in WNC Magazine, which is a local publication out here in the mountains of Western North Carolina. And a little bonus here, $1.50 from every bag purchased of our medium roast goes directly, no fees come out of it or whatever. $1.50 goes directly to families who are still recovering from Hurricane Helene, had their homes completely destroyed or like severely damaged, and have incurred tons of cost rebuilding. And some of these families are still rebuilding. I actually got a note from Mike, who we featured in some of the videos, like way back in the fall. Mike and Alicia. Mike sent me a text last night. He said, "Hey, our floors are getting put in tomorrow," which is today. So 9.5 months after Hurricane Helene destroyed their home, they're finally at the point where they're getting flooring installed. It's been a long journey. He's basically doing the rebuild himself. He's working full time, and then he gets home every night and he's working on his family's house. Well, his family is living at their in-laws, and he's sleeping in a construction zone, and the floors are getting installed today, which I think he's getting help getting like he's paying someone to get the floors installed. So anyway, this $1.50 from every bag goes directly to these families down here to support their rebuild. They're great people. They really took it on the chin last September, and many of these families are still fighting to get back into their homes. And those that have got back into their homes have a financial battle, because some of these families got brand new homes like their homes got destroyed. They got stripped down to the foundation and they had to rebuild. Like, you're talking about a tremendous financial outlay that these folks had to incur. So they'll be battling that for years. So we don't charge more for the coffee because we donate it down there. It's the same price as all our coffees, the medium roast. We just take $1.50 out of those proceeds and bring it right down the hill to them. So thanks for hearing me out on the coffee thing. We love our coffee too. And it's freaking delicious. At the bottom line, it wouldn't matter if the coffee wasn't great. And the coffee, it truly is great. It's our favorite coffee. That's why we partnered with Dynamite Roasting. It's a dream that they partnered with us. It was the coffee that Kim and I drank every single day. And I was like, oh, I'll just throw a Hail Mary out, see if they'll want to partner and roast our coffee. And they said yes, which still, it's awesome. They're like the Dynamite Roasting is like, they are like big dogs here in Western North Carolina. Like, everybody loves them. Catching the end of this week's live. What's up, Nick? Nick Smith is in the house. Okay, I submitted for the 3-pack. Nice. I think I just got your notification, Brandy. That's awesome. I like mild, like breakfast, but I do like dark chocolate. Okay, let's see what you ordered, and then we'll take it from there. Brandy. Oh, we got a taster pack. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. So it looks like you got the taster pack ground, right? Like, you like to purchase your coffee already ground. I'll get that packed right up for you. That's awesome. That's really exciting. I'm going to have to put y'all on hold for 1 second. The pest guy's here and Kim's on the phone. So just give me a moment. I'll get that shipped out for you. 1 second. Hey, man. Hey, how's it going? Hey, good. How are you? Good. Oh, all good. I'm just finishing things up. Cool. Yeah, and everything was looking good. There was some rodent activity in the garage. There's usually a little activity in there. I got the baits all swapped out, and I got the rodent bait in the outside box behind the garage. I got it swapped out as well. Did a good treatment with special focus on ants. She mentioned there was some ants on the back deck. So I got around the perimeter of both the decks and underneath both of the decks. Yeah, certainly. Yeah. Everything's looking good. Well, if I could just grab a signature from you, just anywhere in the box here. Perfect. All right, appreciate you. Yeah, man. Wishing you a good week, and I guess we'll see you in a quarter. Yep, we'll see you in October already. Yeah, it sure is. Bring it on. I'm ready for some cool weather. For sure, same here. Absolutely. All right, man. All right, take care. You too. Thanks. Bye. I don't know why I put that down like that. Pest guy, he just comes by quarterly and treats for stuff. So he was giving me the updates on what's happening with rodents and ants, and we have no carpenter bees, which is nice. So, but anyway, that's just a quarterly. It wasn't like we had an issue. We just, they just come out quarterly and treat for stuff. All right, let's get some coffee shipping. I got you, Brandy. I got you. Hello, Donna. Welcome in. Cohen is in the house. What's up, brother? My friend Cohen from Trinity, Florida, is in the house from Newport Richey. Let's get some coffee shipping. Let's get some coffee shipping. So we got a light roast, we got a medium roast, and we got a dark roast. All going out to Brandy. Thank you so much. Little peak taster pack. A little bit of everything right there. And you can let me know down below in the chat. You can tell me exactly what you drink now. And based on what you tell me, I can make a recommendation on what I think you should give a try to. But Brandy's going to give them all a try, which I support that as well, of course. Definitely want to support your channel and your neighbors, especially with the flooding in Texas. Yeah, that Texas stuff, I tell you, is it elicits a lot of emotions that we were feeling for months and months and months, and still feel here in Western North Carolina. Like, watching that just sort of, it woke up a lot of those emotions, just watching some of the reports and videos on what's happening out there. We have family that lives in New Braunfels, so New Braunfels is also on the Guadalupe River. They are good, but our family is fine. But obviously, they're in a community that's been hit hard, so it's just kind of heavy energy out there right now. Just a lot to think about. It takes a whole community to rebound from something like that, and it won't take it won't be overnight. That's for sure. That's just tough stuff. But Brandy, I appreciate your purchase, supporting our small business out here. I think you're gonna love the coffee. Be curious, like which one is your fave? You'll have to come back and let me know. We'll get this all packed and shipped out to you. We'll get a handwritten thank you note going in there for you. I am really grateful for your order. Cool, good stuff. Good stuff. And Brandy's supporting us by purchasing our coffee, which really means a lot to us. But I also appreciate everybody out there just being here, saying hello, hanging out in the chat, asking good questions, tapping the like button, hitting the following or subscribe button. Those things help us out too. So you don't just have to support us with money, although we certainly accept that. We do appreciate you just being here and being part of this little flipping community that we have here. Maybe this shipping label will load, and that would be cool. But I do appreciate your order, Brandy, for sure. Come on, shipping screen, you can do it. We'll let you know for sure. Get your handwritten thank you note going. I'll share with you too, I've talked a little bit, and I've probably, definitely tapered off into how much I've been talking about what's happening here in Western North Carolina and the rebuild, which is, not just like homes and businesses being rebuilt, but, the economic rebuild is ongoing. I mean, there's so much to it. And there's also there's definitely like a psyche rebuild, right? An emotional rebuild that's ongoing too. So thank you, Brandy. I really appreciate the purchase, but I haven't talked about it as much maybe as I should. I almost feel like sometimes I'm just like overwhelming you with it. I mean, it's like been over 9 months now, but there isn't a day that, that we experience where we're not talking to people everywhere we go. The conversation is still on, the storm. And I mean, we just got into a conversation the other day with a friend of ours, and we were still talking about like those early days right after the storm and how like unique that experience was. And, it's still like the conversation comes up constantly. It's every single day. Every single day you drive by homes that are, either just, destroyed, or they've been demoed and taken away, or homes that have been rebuilt, and you can see like rebuilding happening. Businesses too. I mean, we just drove through the River Arts District yesterday for the first time in like the last couple of weeks, and it was like all these buildings that were there and destroyed that were there just like a couple of weeks ago the land has been totally cleared, and like all these buildings and warehouses are gone. We're like, wow, you can see all the way through. That was all buildings, like all big giant warehouse, type of buildings, and like they're gone. Like it's just kind of crazy. Every day it feels like every week that passes, right? Like areas look different than it looked, the week before. It's in the name of progress, but sometimes progress, looks ugly first before it looks better. And when you see a whole area that was all just like, buildings and commerce, and you see that area, like all of a sudden it's just dirt and flat, you're like, it's just hard to conceptualize, wrap your mind around. You're like, man, there were so many businesses that were right there, and none of them are, there's nothing. It's just dirt and gravel. You're like, that is wild. It's just hard to process. But we drove through that last night, and just saw a lot of it. Remember, that's progress though. I'm not complaining. It's like, it's great. You need to get rid of the destroyed buildings and the debris before you can rebuild. And but yeah, it's like stuff is going to take a long time. We are nowhere near out of the woods in this sort of thing. All right. So thank you, Brandy. Thank you, Brandy. And thanks for kind of opening the conversation and listening to me talk a little bit about that stuff. But that's the start, like our lives out here is just, we talk about that stuff constantly, and we will be for months and months. And Kim and I were saying yesterday, like, man, we're going to be talking about this stuff like 20 years ago from now. We'll be still sharing these stories and talking about these experiences and what happened and what changed and what's different. There'll be a lot of conversation about like, yeah, remember like, remember before the storm, like pre-Helene, there'll be like those conversations will persist like years, maybe decades from now. Good morning from Missouri. And I'm sure the same thing's going to be happening in, Texas. They're still in the really early days of dealing with the destruction and trauma and all and rebuild and stuff like that. But um, it's that's gonna be they'll be talking about this forever. Appreciate you, Brandy. Appreciate you. How Can you tell me how to post on a schedule using Nifty? I couldn't find it. Do I save in drafts? Um, I don't know how to schedule them, but let me show you really quick what I would do on Nifty real quick. So let me bring up Nifty. All right. Good morning from Houston. Debbie's in the house. How are you, Debbie? Appreciate you being here. Um, Chemo's back. Just looking. Sorry, I missed a couple of comments as I was sort of riffing a little bit emotionally about what's going on around here. Great timing too. I'm at the moment and listening into Nice Neil. Um, Coffee has been hard on my tummy, but I miss it. Do you think the white roast would work? So Donna, with uh, with coffee, it depends on what's bugging your tummy. If it's acidity that bugs your tummy, then typically the rule of thumb with coffee is that the darker the roast, the less acidity. The reason is because a darker roast just means the beans have been roasted longer. And typically you use like a heartier bean, whatever. But the idea is that the longer it's roasted, the less acidity is going to be left in the bean, right? Because as you roast something, right, stuff comes out. So a darker roast actually has less caffeine and it also has less acidity. So if it's the acidity that's getting to your stomach, I would encourage you to think about the medium roast or the dark roast. The medium roast is actually pretty low acid just because of the type of bean, the bean that's from Mexico, and we're totally geeking out now. But either the medium or the dark roast are going to be lower acidity. The dark roast will be the lowest acidity. So if it's acidity that's getting to your stomach from coffee, then I would encourage you in general to get into dark roast. But if you want to get ours, I would encourage you to get the Black Mountain dark roast if it's the acidity that's bugging you. So let me know about that. I'm going to get into that Nifty thing here in a second. Just wanted to address that. Donna, you got all the questions today. So Tej is in the house. What's up, Tej? How are you? Colts Comics is in the house over on IG. What's up, brother? How are you? You taking a vacation week this week, Jeremy? Or you was vacation last week? Or what are you doing? Are you chilling? Are you working? I hope you're taking some downtime. Hope you're well, Jeremy. Thanks for popping in. Donna, it is the acidity. Yeah, I would encourage you to do medium or dark. My best suggestion would be dark. It's the lowest acidity of our lineup for sure. Some roasteries actually do make specific low acidity, like they'll target low acidity beans, right? Because every bean is different, and then the roasting process for every bean is different. So those are like their two things. If you pick a low acidity bean and you roast it longer, then you're going to have lower acidity. Also, if you make coffee, one way to get even less acidity is to make cold brew, Donna. So I don't know if you've ever used a cold brew coffee maker. We got one a few months ago, and I don't know why we never got this sooner. I'm going to bring it up right now. The one that we got on Amazon, it is a great price. So, man, playing with your coffee is awesome. As we continue to sort of like learn about, remember, we're not coffee experts. We're just like people that enjoyed coffee that decided we're going to start a coffee business. We've been learning as we go. But let me bring up this coffee maker. It's in our recommended reselling supplies. We also have our coffee stuff in there too. Here it is. Why is that not working? Got it. So this cold brew coffee maker, it's 33% off right now. So it's $19.99. I think that's about what we paid for it. And I'm going to drop that right in the chat. This is the direct link to it on Amazon right there. So when you cold brew coffee, there's actually less acidity in the coffee too. So like an acidity isn't necessarily a bad thing for coffee unless you have an issue with acidity for your stomach. If you need low acidity things, obviously, yes, you want low acidity, but acidity isn't necessarily bad. The acid in coffee or the pH, that's what gives coffee its like those brighter notes. So if you like a coffee that's got like kind of like fruitier, peppier, bright notes, Lighter roasts are typically going to be higher acidity, which means you get, it's like what they call the treble on your taste buds, whereas the base is like like usually it's like more the roastiness or the dark chocolate. That's like the base. The treble is the pH, which is the acidity. And so lighter roasts, which are actually hotter right now, and like if you geek out about coffee, light roast is the hot thing, because you can get a lot of like kind of different like bright fruity notes that come with like the higher acidity of light roast. But if you want the lowest acidity coffee you could possibly get, I would encourage you to get a darker roast. And like our Honduran beans that are in our dark roast are a low acidity bean anyway. Then it's dark roasted, so more acidity has come out of the beans in the roasting process. And then if you use a cold brew coffee maker, because you haven't heated up the beans, it doesn't bring as much of the acidity into your cup of coffee. So if you like cold brew, but remember, if you make those cold brews, it's going to be like stronger. Like you're going to get a lot of caffeine in those cold brews. They can be potent. So you might need to, we water our cold brew down because they can be really strong, but it is definitely lower acidity when it comes out of that cold brew coffee maker. I'll show you what I'm talking about, by the way, too. I should have done a shared screen. It's a really easy thing to use too. We just, you fill up the coffee filter, you fill up the water, pretty basic standard stuff, right? You screw on the top, you throw that thing in the refrigerator for 24 hours. They say you can do it for as little as 12 hours. We always do 24. And then you just take that filter out, top it off with water. I would consider watering it down a little bit too, and or just watering it down as you pour it into your cup. But yeah, then you just use that same carafe as your cold brew carafe. Just leave it in the fridge. But super easy to brew that way. You just got to do it 12 or 24 hours advance, and then you have yourself, for us, that's days worth of cold brew for Kim and I. But lower acidity for sure that way. And it really, because of the lower acidity, this is the Black Mountain dark roast. Because of that lower acidity, it makes like a different cup. Like I get a little bit more of the dark chocolate, and I get a little bit more of the creaminess from the flavors because it's like that lower acidity. Like those flavors aren't competing with the general acidity of coffee because that cold brew process. Hot brew will have higher acidity. We sell it both whole bean or ground. We also have a French press ground if you have a French press coffee maker at home, if you like that coarse ground. But yeah, you can order it whole bean or you can order it ground. It's totally up to you. Now I need coffee. I'm on my second cup, and this is actually cold brew. So I did a full cup, and then I did a half for my second one, because if I do 2 full cups of cold brew, I go through the ceiling. It's so strong. So I do 1.5. Some days I only do 1, but I knew I had to like bring some energy to be live. So I'm like, I'm going to do 1.5 today. But if I do hot coffee, I do 2 full cups. Do you promote your listings on eBay? And if so, Nate, I promote at 5%. Great question. Great coffee talk. I'm learning some stuff. Nice Colts. No vacation this year, but I have most of the summer off. That's awesome, man. You have most of the summer off. Let's go. So you're off right now. I love it. What do I need for cold brew pitcher? Cool. So Donna, do you have a coffee grinder at home? Oh, I got to put out my packages. Hold on. Post guys here. Hey man. Not bad. How are you? Busy day today, or still kind of slow? Oh, is it? Probably because you skipped the day on Thursday.
To be honest, I think they kind of let people off the plant last week.
Oh.
So it's causing it to not be ran as much.
Got it.
So now they're covering it.
So you were slow last week, but now you're going to be busy. Got it.
That's what I tell people.
There's always something, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, my friend. I think I have one more. Jacob is here picking up packages, and we got one more to do. I didn't show you this one. Your coffee is going out, Brandy. I'll answer your question, Donna, about the coffee in a second. Got a pair of Viore shorts. These are actually the Viore Banks short, so they have that little scalloped piece on the side of the leg. It's a men's pair of shorts. I paid $5 for these at the thrift store. I had them listed for $35 on Poshmark, and I believe they sold for $31. I have so many windows open here. What is going on? This is ridiculous. Let's see. Sold for $31. Men's size medium. So just listed these the other day too. So these took, wait for it. These took 2 days to sell. So I listed them on the 4th of July and they sold on Sunday, yesterday. Pretty good. So $5 into 31. Poshmark charges 20% fees. So my fees will be $6.20. So after it's all said and done, what's that? 25 bucks. I made $19.80 off these Vuori shorts and they sold in 2 days. Let's rip. Where'd my oh, here it is. Right in front of my face. This is going to Michael. Thank you, Michael. In Centennial, Colorado, just south of Denver. I don't know where Centennial is. That's what they call the Denver Tech Center, or DTC. There's a lot of money in Centennial. A lot of big companies are down there, big tech companies. It's a great place to garage sale. Who's that?
Just give me the package.
Why are you being... Okay, relax. We have positive energy in here. We have positive energy in here.
Thank you, my man.
You too. Yeah, hey wifey. She comes flying in here with all that energy. Only positivity, that's right. Keeping the show out. Yeah, I mean you know what's really going on behind the scenes. I'm just here having fun, flapping my gums. We know who the boss is. Colts, you promote at 5%. How do you decide on 5%? There's really no, like most things in this business, Colts, there's not a lot of rhyme or reason, or, sometimes you just sort of settle on something, feel like it works. So 5% promotion is what I do. I used to do 2. I used to do 3. I don't know. We're at 5. I don't really have like a logical explanation. Sometimes you just do things. That is crazy. Background floor rug is still for sale. Oh, that's funny. You're funny, Carolyn. Hello, wifey. Yes, you have a grinder. You do have you put a question mark. I'm confused. You can't ask a question with a answer. Yes, I have a grinder. So you have a coffee grinder. If you have a coffee grinder, I'll just say this, Donna, and let me know. You can stop me if you have a coffee grinder. I would buy the dark roast. I would buy it whole bean. You are going to grind it on more of like a medium coarse ground. So like if your grinder goes from 0 to 10, say, I would say grind the coffee at a 7. Yeah, grind it at a 7 if you're going to use it for the cold brew, right? So a medium core. If 10 was the coarsest, you would go to like a 7. If you were going to do, say, like a French press, you would do more like a 9 or a 10. But I would say do a 7, and that's what you'll use for the cold brew coffee maker, if that makes sense. So medium coarse. So on the coarse side of medium. So like a 7 out of 10 is what I would do. And I would do it with, if you want low acidity, I would do it with the Black Mountain Dark Roast. And you're going to get that nice creamy body to it, a little bit of roastiness and a little bit of dark chocolate. But it's going to be a nice balance. That cold brew, that's what I'm having right now. I mean, it is freaking awesome as a cold brew, really low acidity. And that's what you're looking for if you're a low acidity sort of person, which I totally understand and appreciate. What was I just doing? We got that last order out. You want to do a return? Let's do a return. We're here. Let's do a return. So I got a return. It's an eBay return from Cecil in Baton Rouge. Moment of truth. You always got to be a little nervous when you get these returns. Did this person take care of the item? I mean, they put it back in the same bag I shipped it to. They gave me back my thank you card. People do that. Like I would say 8 times out of 10 when I get returns, they put the thank you card back in. I'm not sure what they think I'm going to do with it. I mean, if I ship something today to Cecil, I guess that would be handy. It's interesting to me that people do that. Like 8 times out of 10, they give it back. I got the little packing slip from eBay. So this is a Peter Millar. It says Peter Millar Pima Cotton golf polo. Accidentally ordered the item. I don't know how you accidentally order an item, but I got it. So what I'm going to do is make sure that this item didn't come back to me like flawed in a way that it wasn't flawed before it left here. So I'm going to put this up on the wall with my photo lights, and we're going to see what happens. And then we'll go through the return process here. And this is returns no fun. Yeah, just part of the game though. It is what it is. So here's that Peter Millar shirt. It's a Pima Cotton Tencel blend, plain, no logos. You know, not a super desirable Peter Millar because it's the Pima Cotton. People want those summer comforts or the Crown Sports, the ones that are polyester, moisture wicking. But this is a 47% Pima, 47% Tencel, 6% spandex. Actually, a nice shirt, super comfy. Those cotton blends with synthetics, I think, are like, it's like that balance between like that synthetic wicking and the like the softness, the comfort of cotton. All right, just looks like a normal run-of-the-mill return. Somebody tried it on, probably it didn't fit or whatever, sent it back. So no new stains, no new smells. It's just a regular old return. So we're going to refund them their full amounts, except we're not going to refund their original shipping cost. They paid $6.95 to get it shipped, but I had to buy a shipping label with that $6.95. So I'm not going to return that, but I paid for the return shipping because I offer free returns on eBay. So I paid for the return shipping to me. That's on me. But the initial shipping to them, I had to pay it. So they're not getting that back. If I made a mistake and I shipped them, like, say, a size large instead of a size extra large, I would refund them their initial shipping too, because it's like, whoop, my fault. But because they just returned it because they said they accidentally ordered it, well, it's like, well, that's your fault. So you're out the $6.95 shipping. That's the way I do it. By offering free returns on eBay, that means that I get a 10% discount on my final value fees. So whatever my fees would have been for this item, it's 10% off that because I offer free shipping. And typically what I see every single month is whatever I pay in return shipping cost for people returning stuff, whatever I pay in that, I actually save more in like the fees from the 10% reduction in final value fees. So that's why I offer free returns. So we're just going to put this right back in its bag. I'm going to file the refund, and then I'm going to put it right back out into the bin that it was in. Actually, I might just put it in one. Yeah, I'll just put it in one of these boxes in here, save myself the stuff. So all I'm going to do is go back into I would show you this process, but I don't want to show you like buyer's address and all that stuff. So I won't show you the, shared screen cup of whatever. Ordered my coffee. Donna will ship it out in just a second here. Let me finish up this return. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to find this return. I'm going to see details. I'm going to refund buyer. And the total refund, so I sold this item for $17 plus shipping. I'm going to refund them $17, but I get credited the fees from this. So they'll credit back the $3.34. I don't have to pay fees on this because this person returned it because they made a bad order. So I get the fees back. So $3.34 goes back. So I'm going to pay right now $13.66. eBay is going to take out of my next payout, which will come on Tuesday. So that's it. The return is closed. Now I got to go and relist this item. So I'm just going to hit sell similar. It'll create a new listing with all the details from the last listing. And I'm going to change the SKU. I'm going to put it in AA1. No, what's that one? I'm going to put it in AA4. I'm going to leave everything the same, the price, everything. It's priced at $21.99 if you care. Actually put it down at $20.99. We're getting to the end of the summer buy-in season. So we're going to go at $20.99 this time and list it. You had a question about, Donna, I think you're still here. What do you want me to do first? Do you want me to ship your coffee, Donna, or do you want me to show you that thing on Nifty that you asked about? Because I got two things lined up for you. What's up, Bud from Mass? Bud from Mass is in the house. Where in Mass are you, Bud? My mom's whole side of the family is from Mass. I grew up in New Hampshire, but spent a lot of time in the Worcester area as I grew up, because that's where my family is. Many of them still are. So this is going AA4. Boom, return done. So it's not really a big thing. Okay, Nifty first, you got it. Not really a big thing. Let's do a shared screen. Let's go into Nifty real quick. I'm going to drop the link. So this is a free trial of Nifty if you're interested. The link is going to be down below in the chat on YouTube or Facebook. If you're on Instagram, you won't be able to see that link, but that's okay. You can just click on my name, and in my profile, you'll see the exact same link. With that link, you'll get a free trial of Nifty, and you'll get 15% off your first month if you decide to sign up after your 7-day free trial. But it's a no commitment free trial, and I'm going to show you this right now. We're going to share the screen, and we're going to get into this question from Donna, who uses Nifty. Cool. So we're in the Nifty, and what you can see right now is these are my listed items right here. So this is the last ones I listed. So yesterday I listed these Bulwark FR, so flame resistant work pants. You can see right there, and it's listed on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. And you can scroll back and you can see all the ones that I listed and cross-listed over the weekend. So Donna's question, and I'm going to scroll back up just to make sure that I'm getting your question right. Donna's talking about coffee. She's also talking about Nifty. Can I find it? Yep, here it is. So the question is, can you tell me how to post on a schedule using Nifty? I couldn't find it. Do I save in drafts? Okay. So I don't know about how to schedule listing, but maybe we'll check that out. I don't know if you could schedule, but I think what you're getting at is, can you save some in drafts? So what you're going to want to do when you go create a listing would be, are you using the AI tool? Yeah, I guess I have so many questions for you, Donna. So do you just want to keep items in drafts? Are you using the AI tool to list? I have so many questions. But typically what I do is I use this bulk generate, because I've been using the Nifty's AI listing tool. So I hit bulk generate up at the top, and this is what allows me to keep items as drafts. So I'll just click and drag 5 items into here. It'll generate a listing, and then it'll just end up as a draft. We can walk through the process of how I do it right now. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Do I have an item to list? Let's have some fun. Let's do it. Let's do it. Donna, do you want me to? Kim said he's KM says he schedules. I don't know who KM. I don't know who KM is. Kim, do you want me to just generate a whole listing and show you exactly the way that I've been doing it? Because this is new. I've been experimenting over the last week or so, and I've figured out a rhythm that I've settled on for now. I might change it in a little bit. But do you want me to run through a listing process as I do it at this point in time? On July 7th, 2025, my style. But I don't know about the scheduling thing, but we'll try. I'll see if there's a way to schedule from there. I haven't seen it, but we'll try. Let me know if you want to see it. Sure. Okay. So let me get these lights set up. I'm going to unshare the screen for now, and I'll show you exactly how. So this is going to be a demo of the Nifty AI listing tool. And not only a demo of that, but I'm going to show you how my listing process from soup to nuts and how I'll list one item. And maybe we'll do 2. We'll see what happens. I don't have my mic on, so I'll have to kind of let me know if it gets like too quiet when I'm talking. So we're gonna list some fun items, and actually this is good because this will test Nifty's AI tool a little bit. I like these unique one-off items like this Polo Ralph Lauren brand new with tags piece here. We're gonna I'm gonna see how nifty if it picks up on certain things like the pattern. Like, so this is see the Polo Bear. I don't think there's any way that it'll know that that's Polo Bear. Let's see the guy playing guitar, the Polo Bear. And the Polo Bear is a huge keyword for this particular item. That's what people are looking for. There's a lot of cachet in Polo Bear. So I'm curious what Nifty is going to do with this item. It's a tricky one. It's got an all over print. I did one last week and it like actually read the print and it told me that it was like pelicans and sailboats, and it was pretty good. But this Polo Bear is pretty unique to the brand, right? It might say bear, it might say surfing bear, but it might not know that it's like the Polo Bear. So let's check it out. This will be a good test for the AI. This is like the battle of wits between who's smarter, AI or humans, right? So anyway, this is brand new with tags. We can see the retail price is $168. And I do my listings on a hanger, and I actually got multiple ones of the same exact item and same size too. So this will be a fun listing. I do my listings on a hanger. Some people do flat lay. There's no right or wrong. You got to figure out what's going to work best for you and your business and your current setup. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. And like you can see I don't have a lot of room over here between the two doors to really make a flat lay setup. I've done hanging setup forever. I like it, but we're going to do it. So I'm just going to use my iPhone for photos. I have it set up in square mode, which is key. I suggested everybody uses square mode, not like the 9:16 mode or whatever. Square mode or 1:1 mode. All right, and we're just going to take a front photo, a back photo, and we're going to let Nifty's AI generate this listing, which is really cool. I won't really, in theory, I won't have to type anything. I'm going to take a photo of the front and the back of this manufacturer tag too, which will show the retail price. And then I'll also take the shoulder tag, and then I'll take the materials tag too. What's great about that AI listing tool is it'll read the size right off the tag. It's also going to read the materials right off this tag too, which is cool. This one's 100% viscose. All right. You can scroll through my photos. I'm going to turn this. How do you do your pit to pit? There's two different ways I do the pit to pit. There's a new way that I'll show you now, but you'll also see in a second. You'll see how I have this is a tape measure that I've drawn using painter's tape right on the desk there, but I'm no longer using that. I'm going to show you what I use now for the AI listings to speed me up a little bit. Oh, I don't know why I took that off the hanger. Typically, I actually leave the shirt on the hanger because it makes it easy to like move the shirt around. I don't know why I just took that off, but again, I told you this is a new process for me. So it's not sort of like automatic, like hardwired into my brain like the old process that had been the same way for years and years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of these two measurements here for this shirt. So that's just a close-up showing it's very clearly, like you can tell that it's the sleeve end, right? You can tell like, okay, that's pit to pit. So close up, you can see that that's 27. And then I'm just going to do the length. I do the length from the front. And what that's going to do, I'm going to show you on the photo why I do it from the front, because you'll be able to see both the length measurement from the front of the shirt and at the back tail of the shirt at the same time. You'll see what I mean in a second. So you can see that there's a difference in the front and the back of the shirt, and the buyer will be able to tell that based on this photo. They can also see I've included one of the buttons there too. So you can tell like, okay, he's measuring down the front center of the shirt. And I think having the button in there like is telling the person like, got it, I can see what that person's measuring. So the length there in the back is technically 32. In the front, it's showing 29, which is really common in these shirts, like where the tail is a little bit longer. So that's it. That's the two measurements I'm going to do for a short sleeve shirt right there. And now I'm just going to move right into the folding up of this item. I'm going to bag it. And yeah, I can put this right into a bin and be done with it. Good idea. Okay, at the corner. Just hopping in. Good morning from Louisiana. Welcome in. We just did a return. We just processed a return from Louisiana. You're getting a little like day in the life here. Not only did we do shipping and a return, but now we're jumping in and we're actually listing an item using Nifty's AI tool. And I'm going to share my screen and show you exactly how this works or doesn't work, right? It's still really a new process to me. So this is folded up. I'm going to put this straight into its bag, so that this remains protected and free from dust and dirt and whatever else. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead and put this behind me in bin AA4, which that's this one right here. Sorry, box AA4. On the front, it says AA4. You'll have to trust me on that. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and go show you exactly how this is all going to work. All right, so you got a little peek down in the corner. It wasn't me. This is Mariah, just trying to get used to using my business page. Well, hey, Mariah, good to see you. Y'all always confusing me with different names and different platforms. Good to have you here, Mariah. Thanks for announcing your name. Now I know who you are. Now I know who you are, because you're also on Facebook with your other account. It's Mariah, right? Okay. So I'm going to hit this button up at the top. You can see where it says bulk generate. Even though I'm only going to do one listing here, I'm still going to do the bulk generate thing. And you can see it literally walks you through step by step exactly what I'm going to have to do to create this listing using AI. So first it says add up to 24 photos and 1 video. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to airdrop the photos that I just took from my phone over to the MacBook. And this makes more, if I was doing a batch of say 15 or 20, this would make more sense, because then I just have to do that airdrop process once for all the photos, but we'll do it here. I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop these photos right into Nifty's AI thing real quick. Do you have a standing rising desk? I do. It's like a little crank desk here. I don't know if you can see that right here, but it's not like one of the power ones. It's like it's a little hand crank, like workbench from Husky. I have it linked in my, I have it linked in that tools document that's on my website. I don't know why that froze up. Of course it froze up, probably because I'm live streaming. I'll try that again. 56-inch. They're side by side. They both crank up. They both crank down. Obviously, this. Why is this messing with me? Why are you messing with me? I actually have two of these shirts too, because I'll grab the other one. They might be two different sizes though. Yeah, one's a 2XL and one's an XL. So I'll have to take like a picture of the size tag to list the second one. So this will be a quantity one. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the background removal tool on my cover photo right here. And this is like built in. I could use, I've used Photo Room for years, and that means I wouldn't have to use one of these credits. But I'm going to go ahead and then zoom in on this. Let's see. I want the buyer to be able to see that this is a short sleeve shirt from the cover photo. So I'm going to cut it right there so that you can just see that it's a short sleeve shirt, but you get a good zoom in on all the, all the good graphic stuff that's going on right there. So perfect. We'll save that. And then because I got rid of our photo that is the full front, I'm just going to add in the full front, that same photo one more time. So we'll just drop that in there. I'm going to rearrange these photos. Then what it's going to do after that, it's going to ask us which 5 photos that I want to use for it to focus on to create the listing. So you can see got my measurements towards the end. Cool. So that's my order of operations for these photos. That's how I'm going to put them in there. And then I'm just going to select, see these little, like where on the photo, there's a blue or a white little like toggle. The ones that are blue are what Nifty is going to use to create the listing, and you can only use 5. So you're going to take the 5 most important photos. So I'm going to do full front. I'm going to do the shoulder tag. I'm going to do the tag that has the, the retail price and the SKU. And then I'm going to also do the materials tag. And I'm going to go ahead and click men. I'm going to change my shipping preset. I'm going to do $6.95 because that's how much I charged for shirts on eBay. And I'm going to go ahead and generate this item. So Donna, what this is doing is it's creating this listing, but it's creating it as a draft, and it will stay in this draft section right here. So it means I don't have to list this item right now, but I have it drafted. I can go and push this tomorrow or the next day or whatever. As far as like scheduling it, we'll see. I'll click on this draft and see if there's like a scheduling option. I'm not sure that it exists. I haven't seen it. So I'm going to scroll through first and just see if I see like a schedule. I don't see anything about like an option for schedule. So if somebody's scheduling them, I don't know what they mean, if they're actually scheduling it in the app. But let's just see how Nifty did with this item. So it's got Polo Ralph Lauren, camp shirt, bear, surfing, floral, triple XL. It did pretty good in terms of creating that item title. It created a whole description here, including reading the color, the size, floral print, resort wear. It's got all sorts of keywords loaded into there. Look at all this this bank of keywords: camp shirt, floral shirt, bear shirt, surfing bear, extra large, resort wear, vacation shirt. So it's got all that stuff loaded into the listing, which is going to help like search SEO, or what they call search engine optimization on this. So, but I am going to make a couple of edits to this because, oops, I did not want to do that, because I think that item title can be better. So I'm going to add the word new. I just like doing that on my listings to really emphasize that it's new. I'm going to put Polo Bear, and I'm going to add the word surfing. I think that's a pretty good keyword for that one. And I'm also going to have, I think it's, what did I say? It's a viscose shirt. Oh, I already have surfing and bear. I didn't need to do that, but I did want to add the polo bear in all caps. And I'm going to also add viscose, which is the material. So there it is. I'm not really going to, the only thing I'm going to change in here is I'm going to add brand new with tags, and I'm going to add the retail price from the photo too. This is all optional stuff. I don't think you have to do this, but we'll emphasize again that this is a $168 shirt. Measurement in photos. So that's all I'm doing right there. I describe the condition and I put an asterisk and write that the measurements in photos so somebody can go find that if they didn't see it in the photos. I'm going to go ahead and price this at $99.99. I'm going to put the SKU as AA4 because that's the bin that it's going in or the box it's going in. And everything else should be set up. Sometimes it gets the sizes a little weird. It's a 2XL. There we go. And all my shipping and everything's already loaded in. It priced it all the way through at $99.99. The Poshmark, I'm going to back the price back down to $99 because Poshmark, you can only do whole numbers. So rather than it being 100, I would rather it be 99. So that's it. Oop, I got to change this. It's calling it a tall 2XL, but it's a standard 2XL from Mercari. Make sure I got it right on Posh too. Yep, standard 2XL. It's not a tall 2XL. So that's it. This is done. Just a couple little tweaks that I did in the item title, and I added the condition description in the description. And I'm going to hit list item. There is no schedule that I can see here, but I could just leave it here. I could update the draft. And Donna, this is your specific question. I update the draft. Now I can go back to drafts and I can leave it in the draft. So if I want to say push these drafts tomorrow instead of having them go live today so that I can feed the algorithm on a daily basis, I personally don't worry too much about that whole like algorithm thing because I already know if I look at my dashboard, I already know that on eBay, Nifty has already recreated 45 listings today. So it's ended and sold similar on 45 items today. So that's tickling the algorithm for me today, and it will tickle the algorithm again tomorrow. So I'm not super worried about saving drafts to say tomorrow because I already am feeding the algorithm. So I know some people swear by that, that they have to like list brand new stuff every single day, but I just haven't seen a difference between like if I list 20 today and 10 or 10 today and 10 tomorrow. I just personally have not noticed a difference in that, especially because I have my cross lister doing those automation pieces already. So I am getting fresh listings. So, but Donna, excuse me, I did not see the option to schedule, but you can save them as drafts. And the key is to hit that bulk generate button up at the top. That'll allow you to save it as a draft after you're done with it. Don't tell me what to do way out. I think the scheduling is in the higher paid option with Nifty. I don't know, maybe I have the plan with like automation. So let me just look at I'll look at the plans and see if there's something in there. Nifty pricing. We'll see what it says. Yeah, I don't see anything about like, I don't see anything like if I got the bundle pro, it doesn't say anything about scheduling as like an additional option, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I mean, I can share the screen here. This is Nifty's pricing thing. What we're talking about is not something I care about anyway. I do not schedule drafts. So I just want to be clear about that. I've never used that option on eBay. I just don't do it. But if we look at the Bundle Pro, which is right here on the bottom, it has everything that Bundle Plus has, which is what I have. I have the Bundle Plus. And then it doesn't say anything about like additional like scheduling or whatever. I would imagine that they would tell you if there was something different. Is there a section in Nifty to set the eBay promotion amount? I can't find it yet. That's a good question. Let me. I don't think so. So I can tell you. I can only tell you what I've done. So I've set a standard promotion rate on eBay, so that when anything is posted to eBay, it uses that standard promotion rate automatically from Nifty, so that I don't have to enter a rate every single time. So if there's a way to do it, I don't know, because that's just not the process that I use to list my items anyway. So I can only kind of speak from my own experience. So I just have a standard rate on eBay that's set up in eBay. And then when anytime anything's listed to eBay or delisted and relisted to eBay, it'll always keep that same promotion rate. Weird. I skew each item. I skew each item now. I'll just skew the bin. Nice. Oh, you're saying like you got it. Do the bin instead of each individual item. Yeah. Either way is a good way. I think AI does well, but you need to pay attention. Sometimes it misses key things, but very fast. And I love Nifty. Yes. And I do think, but based on, so, the idea of like AI, right, is it gets better as it goes, right? So I have a feeling that we'll see it naturally improve, but also, the Nifty themselves, the engineers that work for Nifty can go in and make tweaks over time. And I'm sure they will, especially if you give them feedback, right? And that's something that I wanted to do sometime over the next week or so, that based on my first like week or so of experience using Nifty's AI cross-listing tool, or AI listing tool, I wanted to go and share some feedback that from my experience. And then I don't think I'm anything special, right? Like I'm just going to share them feedback as any customer, right? I don't think I'll get special attention from their engineering team or whatever. So I think, Donna, you could do the same thing. If there's things that you're kind of consistently seeing, like, it kind of tends to sort of mess this thing up, I'm sure giving them that feedback is something that they would value to continue to make that tool better, right? So it's a pretty complicated tool when you think about like what it's actually doing. So I think, giving them feedback along the way is only going to help to make it a little bit better. I'll be using this tomorrow on Nifty. Nice. Andrew, you are nice. You are a nice person. You are a nice person. I am loving Nifty. It definitely is increasing sales. Nice. I'm glad to hear that, Brandy. Glad to hear that. Good idea. I have a standard on my eBay settings, but don't know if created through Nifty side of it, if that goes in, or if you add it on the Nifty side. I don't think I added anything to the Nifty side. I'm not sure. I can list another item and see. Well, maybe I can. Let me just look real quick. I do have that draft. I created a draft. So maybe if I go into that draft, I can see if it gives me any way to edit it from here. I'm looking through. I don't see it. The only other place it might be in is settings. So let me check that real quick. Yeah, I don't see a way to do it, but that also might be a thing. There's certain things that I think you can ask me and expect pretty good answers from, but there's certain things that, like that would be a great question to ask like Nifty support, right? They, as much as I love Nifty and have been using it now for 15 months or whatever, and I know a thing or two about it, I didn't build the thing, so I don't know every nick and cranny about it. There's definitely, I think stuff like that, you probably want to get in touch with support and see what they have to say. They always get back to me pretty quick when I have questions like that. So don't be scared of putting in a support ticket and seeing what they say. But I know a lot of stuff about Nifty, but I might not know every little thing. It ain't my tool, it's theirs. I did a 10% discount if someone clicks on an item after 10 minutes. Nifty sends it out. Yep, that's exactly what I do too, Donna. And that's why I get like extra sales every single day. You hear me say like, oh, that's a Nifty offer. It went out. Really consistently get extra sales from that. So you are welcome. You are welcome. All right, that's it for me today. Oh, I do got to ship out Donna's coffee order. I cannot. How could I forget that? I also just got an offer too. So let's go. I got a couple offers. I wonder if this is from the same person. They're all Brooks Brothers items. So let's take a look at these offers. I'm going to go ahead and ship out Donna's coffee here in a second, and then we'll take it from there. So you can see 3 offers, and they came in over the last 14 minutes. So 3 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago, 14 minutes ago, all Brooks Brothers items. So let's go ahead and see what's going on here. The 2 pants are the same size or similar sizes too. So let me see. This might be the same buyer trying to effectively get a bundle. We're pretty far apart on price, so I don't think this is going to go anywhere. So this is going to Santos set. So it's a $25 offer on an item that I have listed on sale for $42.49 right now, and that's with a 15% off sale. So let's see what this other one, if it's the same person. I wish eBay did this better after all these years. Yep, that offer's from the same person on the other pair of pants and on the shirt. It's a different person for the shirt. And this one, funny enough, is going to Doral, Florida, which is where I say it's, besides Miami, it's the second most popular shipping destination for anywhere in the country. I ship so much stuff to Miami and Doral, Florida. A lot of that stuff is getting shipped overseas from a freight forwarder. So my first offer is for $14 on a Brooks Brothers polo shirt that I have listed for $19.99. I'm not going to accept that offer. I'm going to counter up that offer at $17.99. Okay, the 2 pairs of pants, the person wants to pay $50 total for 2 pairs of pants that I have listed for $49.99 a piece, but they're on sale right now for $42.49. So this isn't going to work. I'm just going to counter at my full asking price, which is the sale price of $42.49. I don't often put messages in. This is the only time I really ever put messages in my counter offers or offers. And I'll show you what I'm going to write. So I'm just going to write in my offer, which because I'm countering at full asking price, which is my sale price of $42.49. I'm going to say the pants are already 15% off this week. Last pair, thanks. This is the only time I ever put a message in, is when I'm counter offering an item that I have on a 15% off sale, and I'm countering at that full sale price, asking price. That's the only time I put a note in. I never otherwise message. To me, negotiation is numbers. It doesn't have to be words. It's the way I see it. Doesn't mean my way is the right way, but I do it in this case because I don't want them to think I'm just countering offering at the full asking price. I want them to know, no, this is already on sale. This is already a good deal. You can come and get it if you want it. I'm going to do that same thing on the other one. $42.49. Add message. Paste, done. Review counter offer, done. So 3 offers, 3 counters. We've moved on. Now we got to ship Donna's stuff. Donna got some coffee. Thank you, Donna. I'm giving you this is just like basically a day in a life at this point right here. Let's ship out some coffee. I have so many tabs open right now. It's gross. I'm guessing we're going to do Black Mountain whole bean. Is that right? From my friend Donna. You're welcome. I was just going to say, I think Doral is freight forwarding. Yep. If you just Google the address, this, you'll see that it's like some like warehousey place that's near the airport. Doral's like just north of Miami, and it's really cool. The Miami airport is like northwest Miami, and like that's right where Doral is. orders it. Donna, we got a bag of whole bean dark roast going your way. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. We'll get this all packed up for you. Delicious. You'll be drinking the same coffee that I am drinking this morning. And it sounds like you're going to get, are you getting that cold brew coffee maker? So you'll be preparing your coffee the same way as we do too. If you want to be full, like peak nerdy, you'll have to get some oat milk too to throw in there. And that's what's left in this little thing here. Donna, a little low acidity special here for you, Donna. Thanks for supporting our small business, Donna. It means a lot to Kim and I. I think you already know that. We're going to get you packed and shipped out right now. The mail guy did already come, so that this will be tomorrow. This will go out tomorrow. But you'll see a shipping confirmation here in just a second. When you do no music, it's got Bob Ross vibes. No music on YouTube or Facebook unless you really like copyright strikes. So we don't do that. They will shut down this live right quick. Been 2 years, Donna. Nice. I live 25 minutes from Worcester. If you and Kim ever head up this way, no way. It's been a long time. I guess the last time I was up in the Worcester area, I went to my aunt's memorial service thing last May, and that was in Westboro, which is where my Aunt Patty and my mom grew up, is in Westboro. They grew up on Milk Street in Westboro, if you know that, right off Route 9. But you look like you're on the south side of Worcester. Like a little 290 maybe? A little 290 out of Worcester south down to your neck of the woods. If I remember my my Massachusetts geography really well. What's your best platform right now? Facebook or YouTube? It's like asking me who my favorite kid is, man. Andrew, I love Facebook. I love YouTube. I love Instagram. I love them all. They're all my favorite kids, man. You can't say like this is your favorite kid. So I'm going to chime in about cross-listing. I talk to a lot of people on apps that use cross-listing. I personally don't use it, but I see a lot of people have issues with shipping prices incorrect. I don't even know. I'm trying to like think of a scenario where a shipping price would be incorrect as a result of cross-listing. I can't think of a scenario, and I'm not trying to be facetious or whatever, modern excessive, but I don't know what you mean. You just input your shipping. If you entered your shipping wrong, then that would be the only way. Do you know what I mean? Like if you entered your weights wrong, that would be the only way that shipping would be incorrect. And I'll use I statements here. I've never had a mistake of a shipping price from cross-listing, and I've been cross-listing since 2021. So I'm trying to think of an example in the last 4 years of like, how would a shipping, I don't understand how a cross-lister would make your shipping. You have to enter your shipping. You enter the weight. So I'm not sure how you would make that mistake. I'm not being facetious. I'm just trying to think this through. It's never happened to me in 4 years. And I've used I've used 3 different cross-listing platforms in that point in time. And some of them have made a lot of mistakes, but I can't think of an example of a shipping price mistake. Never had a shipping price incorrect with any of, so Nick Smith says the same thing. Never had a shipping price incorrect with any of my cross-listed. I'm just trying to think, if you put the weight in wrong, I think that's the only way I could see how that would work. I'm just trying to think of the different platforms I've used and like how they cross-list. And I wouldn't know. If you estimate your weights, be careful with Depop. Got it. Hi, I'm a silent follower. You're vocal now. This is great. I enjoy your tips and tricks. I had my first $1,000 week this this week of July, first week of July. To get $1,000 week the first week of July is tough. It's a vacation week. People are spending money on restaurants and fireworks and traveling and gas stations and Buc-ee's or whatever, right? People are traveling, spending all their money and time and attention on that. So you get $1,000 a week, your first $1,000 week in the first week of July. That's freaking awesome. So congrats to Andrea. If y'all want to share some positive emojis or vibes for Andrea having a big week, that's pretty cool. $1,000 a week. Pretty cool stuff right there. I like it. And I like our silent followers just the same too. So you're welcome to be silent or vocal or whatever. But of course, I love hearing from you. Also, be careful with posting stuff that's over 5 pounds to Poshmark. They don't stop you. Yep, and you'll just have to pay an extra $4.50 additional per pound up to 10 pounds. So if you ship a 10-pound item, then that's going to cost you an extra $5.20, $22.50 on the shipping label. That's a lot, right? Yeah, I guess that's right. So your 10-pound shipping label would cost you an additional $22.50. So you got to be careful on Poshmark. Over 5 pounds, good stuff. Us clothing resellers don't really got to worry about that kind of stuff, Andrew. You get some positive vibes coming in. Got some positive vibes coming in. That's awesome. What was selling? I sold $500 and I was selling a lot of UFOs. So what do we got? Andrea, we got a question for you. Brandy wants to know what's selling for you. What you sell $1,000 of last week? That's pretty awesome. Donna, your coffee's ready to go out tomorrow. Appreciate you believing in me. It also sounds like you're going to get that cold brew coffee maker, so believe in that recommendation there. Play with your coffee. It's fun. It's fun. I think you'll enjoy the cold brew situation. All right, y'all. I just got a counter offer, I think, on those Brooks Brothers. So the guy declined my offers on the Brooks Brothers pants, but I got a counter offer on my Brooks Brothers shirt. He came up to $17. I'll take $17. Let's do it. I was at $17.99. I hate when people nickel and dime me, 99 cents difference, whatever. We'll take it. You'll get a shirt for $17. We'll ship that out tomorrow too. Heavy coats or lots? I'm trying to think of a 5-pound coat is a heavy coat, brother. Maybe a Harley jacket or something like that could go at 5 pounds. Maybe a Harley jacket. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me for a little bit, spending a little bit of time. Remember, as soon as I hit end on this, you might have just been jumping into this live. As soon as I end it, this is available as replay on YouTube and Facebook. So if you want to go back and see what was selling today, if you want to see a demo that we did of Nifty, we used their AI tool really quickly. And I showed you the process that I'm using to use their AI tool. My process, not the process. There's different ways you can do it. There's other people who do it differently, but you can go back and watch all that stuff if you want. And of course, if you're watching the replay too, I get back to all those questions and comments too. So if I can be helpful in any way, let me know. And I always like to hear about what's going on in your biz, your sales, your finds, and all that stuff. So you can drop those on the replay too. In the meantime, I hope you all have a great week, some great sales. It's a slow time. This is also a very big vacation week. Remember, a lot of people had 4th of July off. It's like a federal holiday or company holiday. So a lot of people probably took this week off too. So some people took last week off. That's the second biggest vacation week of the year, Christmas being one. This coming week is a big vacation week too, particularly because of the 4th of July being on Friday. So a lot of people are going to use that day and these 5 days of vacation coming up. So this tends to be a slow week for our business too. The things that tend to sell are kind of in-season things, hiking, outdoorsy, swimming, swim trunks, golf polos, things that people are wearing on their vacations. But just remember, people don't really tend to shop as much during their vacation weeks, right? They're spending money on other things this week. So don't be alarmed if you're having a slow week. I had a slow week last week. I anticipate that this will be a slow week too, but that won't slow me down. I'm obviously going to keep working, keep listing, and all that stuff to try to make a good week. I don't concede a bad week, but I just don't get upset when it's a little bit slower than I would like it to be. I just sort of know that that's the normal ebbs and flows of businesses. If you were selling ice cream, in January, that becomes a little bit harder. If you're selling, camping tents in the middle of January, that becomes a little harder. Likewise, if you're trying to sell skis in July, that doesn't work as well either. Selling clothing or whatever on eBay during July, can be a challenging thing. It's just it's not what people are spending their time doing. They're looking for experiences and getting out and vacationing and all that sort of stuff. So, and that's where they're devoting a lot of their income towards right now, bringing them kids to Disney or whatever those expensive things that people are doing. Hopefully coming to the Biltmore and all that stuff here in Nashville. But it's just the way it is. Keep on trucking. But you can want for more, but just you got to be realistic about what the results are going to be this time of year. It'll pick back up. It will, especially if you put in the hustle during the slow months. So anyway, we'll see you again next Monday about 11 a.m. Eastern time. We'll go live. We'll ship out orders again next Monday. I might pop on and do something else later on this week. I've been doing that from time to time. I might do another live, but you can count on next Monday, 11 a.m.-ish Eastern time, and we'll ship out some orders. We'll talk shop and all that stuff. Have a great week. See you next time. Peace.